Hello everyone, I'm Captain Logan, and look, I've got my movie crew here with me. We've got Jayson, my son.
Hi.
Who played a 12-year-old version of me. He's right behind my head here. And we've got Brandon Grimm, who played
me.
Brandon
I'm here,
Grimm.
Diamond.
And we have Chris.
Hello, everyone.
Chris Cole, who has a very superhero alliterative sort of name.
Exactly.
Do you have like a secret superhero identity that we don't know about?
Yeah, it's SOS.
It's SOS, man. Look, I wouldn't tell you if I did. That's how I protect this city.
Yeah, but you just told us something because that's probably the voice you use when you're being a superhero.
I don't know.
Tonight we're going to watch Superhero Rewind the movie, and we're going to do a director and crew commentary for you, and we're just going to tell you ins and outs of what it was like making this thing, and we'll answer your questions if you're watching live. If there's anything in particular you notice while we're watching that you wonder how we did or why we did, and feel free to ask about anything and everything related to this. This was a year of our lives and a couple of years of my life when you add in writing the thing and everything. It's been, 3 weeks now since the movie went live? And it weirdly kind of feels longer. Like I've had this out of my head now for a little bit with just
like
other
a month
things.
or two.
Yeah, with just other things going on in life, and so I got to get my head back into this thing. But I wanted to do it while the movie was still making it was still relatively fresh in our minds. Because again, we started this a year ago, and so I felt like if we waited too long, too much of this commentary would be. I mean, I don't remember when we shot this.
Well, we started it more than a year ago.
Where we were at, and
That's true.
Well, that's true because it was April.
Yeah.
Of last year, so it's been a year and a half now since
You've
even
been
feel like
formulating it for
yeah.
a while too, and we'd kind of been in on the process a little bit.
Man, I can't believe it's already September. It's like I'm not ready for time to go this fast.
No, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's been so long now that Chris is a regular on the channel.
I know, right?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Chris is with us weekly, or at least lately he has.
Yeah,
been.
exactly.
More than I'm on.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, he's co-hosting Comic Book Late Night Unlimited with me on Tuesdays, which has been
Yeah.
going great. And so people actually know who you are now, Chris.
I know, that's weird.
Isn't that exciting? Because for a while it was just like,
competition.
who's this random guy?
Some random just pops up too. It's like some guy.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and get right into it. You guys are not going to see us, our faces, through the movie. We're going to do this like a traditional movie commentary where we're just going to show you the film and talk behind it. And then we'll come back on camera again probably right at the end just to bid you guys farewell. Anything else you guys want to mention before we start? I didn't want to have a whole ton of preamble.
So I didn't. I have a question because I didn't realize we were doing a commentary project on this so soon after. I mean, I thought it was like 2 years.
Well, you see, this is not a story analysis sort of commentary, Jason.
Oh.
So we don't want to get too much into what the movie is about. Like, we can talk about our intentions, certainly, but we're not reviewing the movie.
Oh, I'm totally gonna review it.
Although if something comes up
Dad, your movie sucks.
where one of you guys, if one of you guys has suddenly now a logical question, just keep it to yourself, because you should have brought it up while we were making it, Brandon.
Brandon
in particular.
Brandon was kind of the continuity guy.
Yeah, I was certainly vocal about lots of continuity, much to your chagrin sometimes, but I think it holds up.
Look,
I certainly do.
It was important enough of the time that when you brought up something that was minute and I didn't care, it was, I guess, worth it.
Yeah,
say that.
I think so. I think so.
Anyway, well, let's go ahead and watch the thing one more time, you guys. Are you ready?
Yeah.
And let me also mention, I have been working on a blooper cut that is not done yet, but it's getting there. I'm hoping a couple weeks, a month, I'll have that done, and then I'll have you guys over again, and you can watch that. And
So
I'll
much footage.
post that
I will love
on the
to see
channel.
it.
We're all looking forward to this.
We had so much crazy behind the scenes stuff that I don't think it will be the length of the movie, but it will be movie length, if that makes any sense. Like we will have, it will be at least an hour and a half, 2 hours of
this is
solid just behind the scenes.
Just hour and a half, 2 hours of blooping.
Funny things that happened, and some of it will just be kind of interesting behind the scenes, but most of it will just be funny things that happen. And then, like I've said before, we also have lots of conversations that we recorded throughout the project that I'll start posting soon. So I wanted to do the commentary and then use this as kind of a kickoff for all of that and start posting those over the coming weeks. Finally, I did get the score up shortly after we posted the movie, and so people can listen to that in its entirety. It would be really easy for me to spend this entire time just talking about score and motifs and references, and I'll bring up some of that. I'll try not to spend the entire time talking about that, but I still think
we'll talk about that stuff too.
It's definitely one of, if not the strongest things in the movie, and I hear new things every time I listen to it, so it's hard not to point that stuff out.
You could have Wendell on and do a score commentary.
That would be cool. Now, Wendell and I did record an hour-and-a-half conversation just about the making of the score.
Okay.
And that will be one of the things I'll post pretty soon.
So you kind of done
So we did sort of do that.
Yeah.
But one, actually watching the movie would have been cool. He was real clear, though, about not wanting to give away every single reference because he wants people to be able to find some of them themselves.
Well, that's really
so we
cool.
talked about some of them, but he at one point, he, not that he was rude, but at one point he kind of cut me off a little bit and was like, yeah, but I don't want to tell him everything. Like,
yeah.
So I totally respect that.
Of course.
Is everybody ready? We'll be looking at comments on our phones. Austin was supposed to be here with us tonight too, but he's feeling a little under the weather. Austin, thanks for popping in and hanging out with us. Let's go ahead and get right into this. Here we go. Yes, sir.
I will start reading comments once we start the movie.
Oh, thanks, man. Let me just grab a remote so I've got volume control for us.
You don't need us to be on the comments, do you?
No, not at all.
Okay, cool.
We'll take care of it. Yeah, you guys just focus on the movie and talk amongst yourselves.
Right. I'll give you a topic. Cheesecake's neither cheese nor cake. Discuss.
That sounds like the old Vince rant about how a giant cupcake is just a cake.
That's true.
That's
It's one of my favorite things he ever said.
I mean,
he went on about it for 5 minutes on a video. It was the best.
I'm pretty sure my first rant ever on the channel was, why is it called hamburgers if it's not ham?
Well, there's actually a reason for that, but
I was like 7, so like.
Oh, I see.
We're gonna get 8 billion Principal Skinner memes in the chat now. Just everybody get
ignorant child syndrome was all that was.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Time for Superhero Rewind.
Child syndrome.
Ignorant child syndrome.
I don't even know. Okay, all right.
Superhero Rewind, the movie. Here we go, gentlemen.
Hey, we're back.
Hey, a dinosaur.
I found it.
Great movie, everyone.
Nicholas Bodo says, "Hey guys, just turned 27 today. This commentary is a good present.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Okay, so here you're going to see me incapable of opening an envelope with a knife?
Okay,
I've been needing to say this for months.
Okay, so Dad and I recorded this on our own. Chris and Brandon weren't here. We had to do this like 5 times because he kept messing it up. And we had to remake the folder every time.
It's so funny to me because I saw it for the first time and I'm like, how is he not opening it this bad?
I'm pretty sure the folder that's there is a different folder than the one that's later in the movie.
Oh, yeah,
because
that's fun.
We kept having to remake it.
So I had to rewrite on those manila envelopes like 5 times.
Okay.
Luckily I had a whole stack of those. So this is a song by Tom Lehrer,
R.I.P.
who's an artist that I grew up with real hard. And when I found out that his entire catalog had gone up for public domain, I went, what could I do? What's a song that we could use for this? And I came up with this, and I thought it was thematically perfect. Unfortunately, it is the only thing that copyright flags the movie still, even though it is in the public domain and shouldn't do that. But yeah, he passed away 2 weeks before the movie came out.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I mean, he's like an interesting guy, too. Like, he's a mathematician, and he like invented something. I can't think of what now.
So this opening shot here, I filmed this opening shot, and it was extremely hard. You'll notice in this movie, the camera does shake back and forth a little bit. We could not figure out for the life of us why it was not
as stable as it should.
As stable as it should have been. And despite, I think, of all of us, I think freestanding, I have one of the stablest hands filming. That this was very, very difficult to do this one one shot.
Obviously, in a perfect world, we would have like a dolly rig for a thing like this.
Yeah.
We shot this on such a shoestring budget that we just couldn't purchase a thing like that on what we had. I did buy a dolly for like moving forward and back and side to side. We used it one time in the entire movie.
It got caught on the rug.
It did kind of shake too much. It didn't really work out.
It doesn't work on this like concrete and stuff.
There's Jason's favorite fake Blu-ray cover.
Yeah, Gardner.
Gardner's amazing.
Gardner.
Yes. Hey, it's me.
Which we came up with, I think, even before we knew Guy Gardner was going to be in the new Superman movie.
Yeah.
There were a few things that suddenly became a lot more relevant and current and people are familiar with. Like, the superhero movie and just superhero and comic book stuff is changing so, like, culture, changing so rapidly that there are things that were more obscure to the culture when I wrote it than are now.
Yeah.
Really? Wow. Yeah.
I don't remember whose idea dropping the light was here, but I loved that.
Oh, man.
That may have been a thing
So
Brandon came up with.
We were having trouble lighting it, and Jason turned the. Didn't you turn the
Yeah.
light?
So
And
I held the light in that.
Yeah.
And I just followed Brandon through the entire thing.
Yeah. So, and then when we got to the end of it, we're like, how do we finish this? And Jason
Yeah.
kind of turned to the side, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that looks great. Let's do that.
So much of this movie was just like happy accidents too.
So I want to mention real quick before we get too far away from it that the stuff that is most heavily changed at the 11th hour before we finally upload the movie is in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I kept adding and adding and adding stuff to this opening scene to try to make it not drag and to be as like fun and unboring as possible, because you're just looking at 7.5 minutes of YouTube video. And I showed this to my wife's family in St. Louis as kind of a preview screening, and they're not as familiar with the channel and superhero movie culture and all of that stuff. So I knew it wasn't exactly the right audience anyway. But they felt like the first half dragged, and then it really picked up in the second half. Our audience on the channel tends to feel the other way about it, it turns out, which is interesting.
Really?
But anyway, the music that you're hearing now was not in the movie for the longest time. I asked Wendell to come up with some music for this opening scene like a week and a half before we put it out, and he was awesome to come back and do it, and it's some of my favorite stuff in the movie now. What you're listening to right now is, if you didn't get it watching this on first viewing, is supposed to be the... Oh, that insert was one of the very last things we put in the movie. That didn't used to be there. But anyway, the music you're hearing now is supposed to be the closing credits for Superman Still Lives. And when I first asked Wendell to do that, he basically just gave me John Williams' Superman. I kind of retooled a little bit, and I was like, "Nah, it's got to be more sinister, and I want like a doomsday theme in the middle of it." Yeah. And he really delivered on it.
That was the one thing you asked him to change through the entire score. I'm pretty sure, like one of
I gave
the only
him
things.
no notes through the entire process,
And, like, there were
until that, which was the last thing we did.
And like there were definitely things where we were like, we're not sure about it, and then we went back to it, and we kept revisited it, and we were like, oh, this is actually pretty cool. Like we were not expecting him to go so like jazzy with the reviewer stuff and stuff like that, but it ended up working actually really well.
I will say right now we can see Cap's couch in the background with the Batman cardboard cutout. I love how you can see some of these things throughout the movie multiple times in different time frames.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff Cap actually had in reality back in these time frames.
The Batman cardboard cutout was not one of those.
That was not one of those,
No.
but it could have been. Certainly.
Right. But so many of these things are.
But there are things that, you will see when we go back to the past.
The chat on the screen that's not super chats is all brand new.
Yeah.
A week and a half before we posted the movie. Again, I'm just adding stuff, trying to make this more exciting. And that actually let me get in a bunch more references.
Yeah.
For the diehard Geekvolution fans. So I didn't have Because Cheese anywhere in the movie. That finally let me get Because Cheese in there.
That's the line, Austin.
I had no reference to Eric anywhere in the movie. That let me do that.
Yeah.
I want to know why Austin says outraged the way he says it in that line.
So that is
reading.
a deep cut inside joke, and
Only like the Discord knows it.
probably the most self-indulgent thing in the entire movie when he goes outraged. That was a thing that he did one night early on when he and I first started shooting together that I've laughed about ever since then.
Okay.
And I told some people on the channel about it, but most people are not aware of what that is.
Yeah, and I knew about it obviously. And
Avenge me.
when I love how it just the chat just turns into
It's just Green Goblin
Green
quotes.
Goblin
Just
quotes.
good. Yeah.
Superman will return in The Return of Superman, which is great because then that means that you have two movies with Return in the title
That's
with
true.
Superman.
I also love Austin's hat in this. Am I being detained?
Yeah, it's hard to read. I don't know if anybody's caught that.
It
Yeah.
took me a minute to realize what it
says-
said.
Yeah, we didn't tell him to wear the hat.
So this piece of music is, of course, also new. He actually came up with this for me before we did the Superman Still Lives music, and again, some of my favorite stuff in the movie now.
It's one of my favorite.
That guitar riff gets stuck in my head, and it just really ramps up the anger with the scene.
Yeah.
And it dragged before it. You absolutely had to have it.
So I will say this right around the, I don't know if we just missed it or it's about to happen. Austin has a line in here where you wrote him saying CG Terrence stamp.
Yep.
And
Oh, yeah.
so many, there were a few things in this movie that came to pass after we were like pretty much said and done
yeah.
with everything.
And several people commented on that when we first posted the movie. They're like, "Oh, that's odd. The timing of that is odd."
Yeah.
And
timing of
there,
that
there are
is
things
odd.
that start looking like tribute that were not intended to be tribute. Certainly, it seems like several people's favorite gag is that shirt gag. Might as well profit from the train wreck. That was in the first draft. I told Austin about it and asked him to get that shirt made, and he ordered it. He had it custom made. He ordered it. It was months. It never showed up, and he had to go to a local printer to get that shirt made. And it was his idea to do the ridiculous Thomas the Train thing with the Canadian Prime Minister's face on it.
Wait, that's who that is?
That's what that
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
Justin Trudeau.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Dawn of toxicity.
Yeah, one of our viewers came up with that. One of the perks that we did for Super Chat supporters was you got to make up one of the fake DVD covers.
Okay, that's cool.
And there's two of them that different people came up with. The other one was Zack Snyder's Wild Cards.
I think I do remember that.
I don't
too.
remember the names off the top of my head, like who came up with those. But
Right.
anyway, so yes, Austin did his own wardrobe. What's up, Brandon?
That's the other line delivery that I'm curious about Austin's choice for, where his just
Awake the monitor.
real hard thumb there.
Yeah,
We're not going to talk about how
This
he
turns
takes.
into the Fallout
Million
guy.
view video.
Yeah.
Also,
He did it 3 or 4 different ways, and that was the best take. That's all I can tell you.
I really wanted that camera to be upside down, but we couldn't get the
Okay.
logistics of it.
Okay,
yeah,
this
go
is
ahead.
the first thing. That's the first thing. I don't know if you've noticed this.
What's that?
In that shot, the projector is not down. But the projector is down because we added stuff where
Oh, that's true.
You know,
that actually doesn't make any sense.
it doesn't make any sense.
That's really funny. Okay, so for the longest time we had an edit where part 1 in the date was right after the opening title was right after Superhero Rewind the movie, and we moved it to the end real late in the game. We also changed where the dates are real late in the game. They used to be on black, and now they're on footage, and I decided to do that partly just for pacing a little bit. It cuts a couple seconds, but the other thing, but the other reason I did it was to make it like Rousseau's editing. Because there's of course a lot of superhero movie parody in this, and that gives us a lot of like Captain America: Civil War and their Avengers movies and that kind of stuff. Anytime you get huge lettering across the screen, that's me doing Rousseau's.
Yeah.
So I'm going to point out here for later this floor here, the floor of the living room, is also where we spread out a large green sheet one night.
Yes.
So that we could do the green screen for Cap flying over the city, holding on to Doom's fences.
That let us put a camera up
Head.
high over me, where we didn't have to.
Yeah, there's a balcony up there.
Where we didn't have to deal with scaffolding or ladders or anything like that. So I haven't posted to the channel, but there are a couple of edits of the movie. The other one, I just take out the F-bombs.
Okay.
There are two now in the version that we've uploaded to the movie. This is one of them. Jason is not super happy with his camera work in this scene.
Okay,
So
okay,
every
so
time we watch it together, he's got like the scowl on his
Yeah.
face.
Okay, so here's the thing. This was my first time ever holding a camera. Like, pretty much. And so I had no idea what I was doing, and it's really bad.
And it looks even more amateurish than it ought to. And of course, this is an amateur project, and we don't exactly know what we're doing. We're doing our best. But I would have done all of this on tripod typically, except I had this idea that in at least the first act, everything would be handheld to give you a sense of mental instability because of where Captain Logan is in his headspace and how kind of crazed and how lost he is. And I don't know that it translates great. I've been worried that it kind of just comes off like we don't know how to shoot a movie.
Yeah.
Well, we had lofty
Hey,
goals
and I got
too.
better. Like, I think I got way better, but,
This was like one of the first things we filmed too.
Yeah,
this
it
was
was.
like
It
very
was.
early in the
Do
process.
you guys remember what the first night was?
yeah.
It was down here. It was actually.
It was me walking around the basement.
So it was down here, but we haven't gotten to it yet.
Yeah.
The very first thing.
Wait, no, the
That's
very
right,
first
yeah.
thing was Doom's Fits, wasn't it?
Well, so that's what I was going to say is the first actual shoot where we're putting people in front of camera and doing action was Jason in the spawn your device in the bunker. And so we did all the dialogue over here by the movies that night, and we did the walk around the basement. But yes, the very first thing we shot was the first few pages of Doomsvent's dialogue.
on the green screen.
Which is a little nerve-wracking for me, because I'm sitting here having no idea what this movie's going to look like, and the very first thing I'm shooting is just somebody's face in front of green. I have no idea what we're making.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we had him wear this freaking like green shirt that didn't work.
Yeah, we gave
There's
up on
the
like
blue
the
artifact.
Oh man,
Show up all
Artifact.
throughout the movie.
it's my favorite character, honestly.
It's either Ghost Rider or a J.J. Abrams lens flare.
I was about to say, yeah, I loved him in J.J. Abrams' Star Trek.
It's funny because we didn't really notice it until we got to the ninja fight, and after that, Brandon was constantly trying to get it out of the shots, out of in camera, and none of us realized we already had a bunch of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We didn't know.
And then another.
This is a good shot, Jason.
Yeah, you're gonna see me in the TV for a minute.
And then I just wanted to mention that I don't think it's super noticeable. Jason's
I don't
been
either.
real worried about it.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
I did a watch where I couldn't find it, and I was like, fine, I'm going to leave it. I don't even know what he's talking
Wow.
about. Oh, there he is.
Yeah,
I
I
just
mean-
found it.
You don't see it unless you're actively looking for it.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
probably not the only place that happens either.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's not.
Jason knows every single line where he's
Yeah.
I also wanted to mention, I don't want to backtrack too much, but I also wanted to mention one of the very first things we shot, I think the second night of actual action shooting was also down here, and that was the opening scene that we just talked about. And
Yeah,
we did the monitor throw that same night.
We
So
need to talk about
Oh,
all
yeah.
the monitor
that-
throw.
all the
Yeah.
monitor throws
So
too.
all of that was shockingly in one night. So all of that dialogue and the monitor throw and Brandon shooting the DVDs. And we had to do all that the same night because we had to totally junk this area up.
That
and
was
it
me
needed,
most
it needed
of
to
it.
look the same all the way through it, so you had to do all that in one night.
Yeah.
We did the monitor throwing with the sleeping baby upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody's
did not-
sleeping upstairs.
Yeah.
We were all really worried it was going to wake somebody up.
And
And
it
didn't.
didn't. And you
Well, and
threw
we had
it
to
so
do it
many
like 4
times to
times.
break it.
We couldn't get the thing to break. It kept
it just
sliding
slid.
across the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the 4th time we finally got it to break, the 3rd time it busted a bit, and I had to hold it,
Hold it
but it
all
still
together.
didn't look. It still didn't look great. It didn't come apart like we wanted it to. So then, when we finally did one that worked, I had to hold it all together,
Okay, so
and then I threw it, and then it came apart on impact, and it looks pretty good.
this scene
I wish we got a close up of it, Brandon. That's
Yeah.
that's one regret I have.
So this scene we had to do in 2 nights, which kind of sucked because we had to like redress the living room a little bit. So this is like the very end of the night. And you guys are so tired.
Yes, we
and
were.
then you guys are
Absolutely.
like suddenly awake again.
Yeah, we got a second wind.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
But what you can't tell is
That's
in
funny.
that take when I'm rattling off, I go, just because you want to Janeway yourself to the life you wish you had, you can see me start to smile. I almost started laughing.
Well, and that close up, I actually, no, it's not here. It's a little bit later. I have a really similar close up here where I'm standing by the door, where I'm real tired. That was that same night, I think, Jason. And the bit where I say my motivation for going back in time. I've got this big scowl on my face. Brandon and I had just gotten in a big argument about how to shoot something, and then we immediately start filming, and I just look pissed.
I will say
That was pretty great.
There are some shots in this film that I'm quite proud of that I was like, we've got to do it this way.
So
We've
Brandon,
gotta-
sorry, I don't want to interrupt Brandon, but I gotta give you credit for the speech. This is some of Brandon's best acting in the movie.
Well, thank you.
On top of the fireplace.
I will take credit for having Brandon step up on the fireplace and putting Jason right next to him.
Yeah. He was talking about me.
Jason might have a different soul. He might be stillborn, and there he is. He's right next to him.
Yeah.
And
Who?
one
This
of the-
guy right here.
One of the funniest bloopers
really good picture.
is I'm supposed to be leading to bigger and worse things, and you could be stillborn, you could be a girl. I messed up the reading and I flipped it so that instead of ending with stillborn,
Yeah.
it ended with he could be a girl.
He could be a good.
It's worse than being stillborn.
And I was like, oh, that's not.
He could
that's
be
not
a
good.
girl.
He could be a girl.
Well, you had one take where you accidentally said it twice, I think, where you're like, hey, he could be a girl. That's it. He could be a girl.
Oh boy.
It was great. Some of the... This is not interesting to anybody, but there were a couple of bits in this scene that I wasn't real happy with, and I finally went back and found other takes from different angles. So this scene looks a lot better than it did a week before we put this out. And something else I added last minute is the Spawnier music. Because this is another scene that I felt like was just dragging a bit. It's 10 full minutes after a 7.5 minute just talking at the camera scene. And so I thought it needed something, and I didn't want to ask Wendell to do yet more score. So I thought we've got a lot of Spawnier reference anyway. The Spawnier fans will probably really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And then something else I did, I don't know if you guys are catching it now or if you've caught it before, but there's also now a bunch of Wayne and Thunder in the scene.
You had mentioned that before, and I did hear it after
dissonant.
that.
Dun dun.
But the lightning that you filmed in the establishing shot was real.
Yeah, that was
It
it was a
was
stormy
lightning that
day where
night.
we gotta
Oh,
get
man.
this. Yeah.
The epic close-up onto the Nintendo 64 with the N64 music.
That's also reversed footage.
Is it really?
Yes.
Yeah, originally we thought we were going to establish this scene coming out, and I just thought it looked a lot better going in, so instead of reshooting it, I just flipped the footage.
Oh, yeah.
You can't really tell.
Oh man, okay.
Something you don't know about the living room scene, though, really quickly,
Go ahead.
is that in a couple of shots, and I haven't been able to find it since, but in a couple of shots, there was a thumbprint or something on the lens that I ended up cleaning off of the
Oh,
lens.
God,
at
remember
one
that?
point.
That was obnoxious.
Yeah,
It
and-
kept stalling out the shoots.
Yeah, it wouldn't
forgot all
focus
about that.
right, and
So, Jason, talk for a second about the expansion pack and how that idea started.
Yeah, so it originally was, and the original idea for this movie was a completely different thing, but...
We have a video about that. We'll post it at some point, so we won't get too
But
deep into that
it was
right now,
originally a GameCube that was a time travel machine.
Which is why Brandon has a reference about that, or has a joke about it later.
Yeah, and then the idea was the alternate version of you has a time travel machine that's a Dreamcast. And that was the idea.
Oh, I forgot about that.
We changed it to you changed it. I think you were the one who came up with the expansion pack. And we bought that box, and then we bought the expansion pack.
Yeah, because the box ended up not having the actual expansion pack in it.
Yeah.
So I ended up with the box, and I was like, great, now I gotta get the expansion pack again. And I bought a broken expansion pack because the working ones are a little expensive.
Right.
I mean, they're like $60, and I don't need one. So I was like, it's actually used. So I was like, I'll buy a broken one for like $35.
But what about that accessory in the first place? It's a weird accessory, and the thing comes with a faux, like it just comes with a cover plate, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and it comes with a device to help you pull it out of the system because it doesn't have a handle or anything on it.
We didn't realize that at first.
We were like, what is
using
this
a
thing?
knife.
Yeah.
We were using a knife to pry it out of the box. And then we found this little bit that
And
came
it turns
out
out
of
I
the
already
box.
had one. We've got two of them.
Yeah. And this little bit came out of the box, and I was like, what is this
But
thing?
ultimately,
This
I was
plastic
glad that I
thing?
accidentally bought that box because we were able to use it as a prop.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
you actually have this protective box that you carry around for your time travel machine.
So this set is really funny because I had to take pictures of where all the Mountain Dew cans were.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Oh,
every
yeah.
time we reshot, I had to place the Mountain Dew cans and all the boxes and stuff.
This took a couple of weeks, and then we spent
we have
so
multiple
much time
scenes
in
in
this
here.
room. It was obnoxious, and it's a small room. It's
such
not
a small-
easy to get different angles.
Yeah.
We
one thing-
moved stuff to get angles.
that's true. One thing that was irritating about it is we did a partial redress for the 1996 stuff with Kareem as James, and there were certain things that we moved around and other things we didn't want to have to move, so we had to shoot around certain bookcases, and we didn't
Yeah.
always manage it great. If you look
Right.
real close, you'll notice a couple of things that are actually in both sets that shouldn't be. Which is kind of unfortunate, but...
And they're kind of set up the exact same way, like
Yeah.
the rooms
This-
are.
This is one of my favoriteest gags in the movie here.
Yeah, but they had to be to do the 64 gag. The thing is that the TV
Right.
has to be in the same place.
Right.
So you're right. Like, that's convenient, but intentionally so. I try to be kind of tongue-in-cheek about that. But Brandon, do you remember how annoying it was moving that IKEA?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it was absolutely annoying. And when we had it in front of the window and we were trying to get darker shots in the daytime, and we hung a sheet from back there, and it
Oh, man.
kept screwing up on us.
We can
and-
actually say we went through all of that just to put a Waterworld poster on a wall.
Yes, yes,
pretty great.
absolutely. Which, by the way, got the biggest laugh
Yeah.
at the premiere.
Yeah, I did.
I know.
Oh my
yeah.
goodness.
We haven't even mentioned the premiere, but that
yeah.
was wonderful. We had a crowd of, 20, 25.
Yeah, pretty good size.
Uh,
decent.
So this is
people that
blurry because
Yes, it is.
of I don't know why it would not. We don't know why it wouldn't.
Oh, that's true.
focus
We
I think
It's
it was
right
the
now,
light.
6 or
I think
7
it was like the
times.
lights or something. I don't know.
It's just
I
because
think
it
it
was too
looks fine.
low lit of a shot, probably.
Yeah.
And that was before we bought the hand lights.
Okay.
If we had the hand lights already,
lights,
we
yeah,
wouldn't
it's
have had that
true.
problem.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
bought those later?
Jason, talk about this, please.
Okay,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm the one who moved this machine, and I got it in the first take. It looked
Jason's
amazing.
laying on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got that on a dolly that Brandon brought over for us.
Yeah,
and
and
we
then-
slid it out.
And then I tried to do it more times, and it didn't work. And so we were like,
Yeah.
okay, I guess we
got-
got
I
it.
guess
One-
we got
yeah.
it.
And here comes Doomsvince, and he's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, this helmet was amazing.
Yeah.
Slipmaker, if you did a GameCube as the time machine, would you have made one that unfolds like the puzzle box from Hellraiser? That would have been kick-ass.
That would've
Yeah.
It would actually, yeah.
That's totally what we should have done. But I think I went with the 64 just for the 90s motif.
Right.
Turns out it's easier to build a time machine out of a cartridge-based system.
Yeah, and that ends up
Spoiler
getting
alerts.
one of the funniest laughs, or one of the biggest laughs in the movie, too.
Yeah. It was weird the premiere what actually got laughs too. It's like, I mean, I'm glad you like it. I'm glad we.
Yeah, there's stuff I didn't think was that funny that everybody was roaring about. That's pretty great. There's some fun accidental foreshadowing that happens. We've got Doomsvince, who you don't know if he's friend or foe yet, and you certainly don't know is going to become the main villain of the movie. Which, by the way, I didn't know on first draft. It was middle of the movie while I'm writing before that I even went that direction. But he's sitting on a Killer Instinct stool. And later he's going to be the big bad guy, and I like the way that worked out.
Also, didn't you... Okay, I didn't even think about that, but also, didn't you take a huge break, like, right after, like, you become, Diamond, like, writing the script, and then you came back to it? Or, not Diamond, sorry, the reviewer.
The reviewer, yeah. I took a 3-month break, after Doomsvince flies off in 1996. Before I get into the reviewer stuff, because I didn't know exactly how the vigilante situation was even going to go. I didn't have on first write, like I had not planned on doing any of the alternate history stuff with Doomsvince making comics illegal or any of that. It was simply supposed to be Captain Logan becomes a vigilante instead of a reviewer because he listens to his older self and does what he's told, and then ends up being a really terrible vigilante and kind of like Kick-Ass just gets his ass handed to him every time he goes out fighting, and then realizes that that was a bad idea. And that was really the idea in the first place, which was, of course, not anything like as interesting as what we ended up with, and you know, all the kind of social commentary stuff and the real, like, catharsis stuff that, like, is real personal and comes from a, actual, you know, personal history place for me didn't come to me until I was writing it.
That's very interesting. I didn't know some of that story, honestly. But I want to talk about this scene for a second because we're interacting with Doomsvince.
That's code for shut up so I can talk about the scene.
Before it ends, I want to mention this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is the first time we're talking to Doomsvince. As you touched on just a little bit ago, Doomsvince, we had a couple of shoots with Doomsvince for various things, and one of them was he did all of his lines in one night. You filmed all of that.
For what? I'm sorry.
For all of Doomsvince's lines in one night.
No. We did 5 sessions. With Vince.
But what?
I'm not sure.
I didn't mean one night. What I meant actually was that you filmed all of those like in blocks, so it wasn't like this is all just his dialogue that you filmed. So we're reacting. He's doing all of this without knowing what's going to happen later, and we're doing this having seen his footage.
Yeah, sometimes he's doing it all shot for shot, and or sorry, like line by line. Of course, he's doing it like cartoon voiceover, where he's got a monitor in front of him. He can see all of his dialogue, and we always have somebody else off camera reading his lines. So Vince was rarely there on set. Really, just the 2-day climax stuff we shot where he's in the robot suit. And people have asked me, by the way, if that's indeed Vince in the robot suit, and it is.
Yes.
It was almost going to be me.
So
that shot where I take my glasses off is new.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize we had that, and for the longest time we had a cut where it just cut to me with my glasses off, which I hated. And I finally found footage of me taking the glasses off.
So the other reason I wanted to mention that about Doomsvince is because of what you just said, was that we usually had someone off camera reading Doomsvince's lines, and that broke us so many times.
Oh no!
It took a lot longer to shoot the movie just because Chris is the worst.
Chris is the worst in Vince.
And when we get to the blooper cut, you'll hear a lot of it.
Yeah, I got banned from doing Doomsvince.
He did.
I was just trying to be true to the character. That's all I'm saying.
So now we're back in the game room again. Once again, we shot so many weeks in here. Brandon especially got really fed up with this room.
I did.
I'm so done shooting in here.
I was tired of moving stuff.
Well, and I think you got tired of doing shots where you had to like pretend to count on your phone, and
it was hot.
Was it?
Yeah, it was warm.
Oh, that's true. We decided not to run a fan because we were worried about sound.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And we had this shotgun mic we were trying to use, but sometimes we were forgetting it.
That thing was awful. And halfway through the production, we just got rid of it and we started using the onboard mic in the camera, which was the exact same mic quality. You cannot tell the difference between them.
Like sometimes
really
the plug
funny-
got loose too, and you get like really staticky sound.
And so we had to fix that in post, which we managed, and I won't get into the technicality of how we did that, but that ended up working out. Jayson had to do a lot of work taking out background noise.
Yeah. There were a couple of things that I'm really proud of.
Brandon, a lot of the stuff in the basement that you were really worried about,
Yeah.
where you were like, oh, we've got to start over because like the
AC came on,
or the furnace came on or whatever. It turned out not to matter because we had enough of it anyway. Jayson was able to take all of that out.
Yeah.
And it sounds great.
Most of it, yeah.
So good job.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, we were gonna say, Brandon. Jayson hates this shot.
It's a little washed out, but I don't know
It's
that
not that it's washed out. It's that he doesn't like how Vince's head sits
I
in
just
the.
didn't like how
it
it's at the bottom. Well, and I had asked if we should take it out, like towards the beginning, and then you had bought a new computer and stuff, and you weren't even able to go back to the editor and fix it.
I forgot
And so
about
I was
that.
like, okay, I
Yeah.
guess we'll live with it.
I could have, but I would have to go back to the original footage, and I forgot about it until the very end, and then I was like, dude, I think it's fine.
Well, and you said you might fix it, and then you didn't, and I'm like, eh.
Another thing that glares up a little bit, or
this got a laugh.
Yeah.
I love Brandon's facial expression there. It's hilarious.
or I should say it gets a little bit blurry. I added that Skype sound effect really late
Skype
in the
doesn't
game.
even exist.
That's why I did it.
Yeah.
Because during the production of this, they shut Skype down.
Yeah.
And I thought it would be really funny if Dan popped out of there and it's a Skype sound effect.
Right.
Especially because everything about Dan's technology here is really throwbacky. Because he's got old TV interlacing, like he's in a tube TV. Like nothing
man.
about this technology makes any sense.
So
Yeah.
that cut that you used, I dropped the phone.
Yeah.
And like it's hilarious. I'm like, oh my goodness! And I reached out. I remember when it happened. I was like, duh.
No, we had to have that tape.
It was good, but what cracks me up about that scene, not only me dropping it, but because I drop it and Dan's face, which was supposedly emanating from said phone, is just still floating there in the same spot, and I think it's hilarious.
Jason wanted to try to do an effect where you walked in front of it. I was kind of fine with it where it was.
Yeah, I was gonna try to like have you give me like each piece so that I could try to put Brandon in front of it and stuff, but
That's
So-
one of my favorite
oh no,
lines.
not this scene.
I don't know why Brandon had so much trouble with this bit, but he kept reading this ultra melodramatically. I never want to give people line readings, so I asked him to just keep doing it and toning it back a little bit. And even what we have is still a little melodramatic.
Yeah, no.
He's got this weird wobbliness in his voice. Where he's like, and you forgot about
I
You
was,
forgot.
I was going for something, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but you weren't having it, so I
I
was
think it
trying
sounded different in your head than it sounded to everyone else. This gag, I think, worked pretty well, where Brandon doesn't usually reference superhero movies, and now he finally is, and everybody's reacting to him. Dan didn't give me any reactions.
He's AI.
I asked him to. I guess he missed that note, and I ultimately I thought about going back to him and asking for more footage, and I was like, I think it works well enough since he's an AI. Like you said, bringing in that he would just have like a still face every time we cut back to him, and he also like his performance is quite good, and I'm glad because he only gave me one take for everything.
It's hilarious. I will say, a couple of moments ago we did.
He's a busy guy, but I would have gone back to him if I thought I needed it. His takes were all great, so
a couple of minutes ago we saw Doomsvins with red lights for a moment. We tried to use this mask came with these lights built in that you didn't know about when you bought it, right?
another cool happy accident.
Yeah,
Yeah.
happy accident. So we decided to use them to signify different things. That like when Doomsvins gets agitated, they like blink red. When he's just nominal, they're like blue, solid blue.
So they're supposed to be red when he's angry. They're supposed to blink red when he's in peril.
Oh, I thought it was
Oh.
just red when he. I didn't ever think we ever used the blinking red. I thought we just used the red when he's like in trouble or something.
We use the blinking red like a couple of times.
Yeah, it comes up a
too.
couple
Yeah,
times
it's-
Okay.
when he's in danger.
and then
It's
it
supposed to be
blinks
like,
blue when he flies.
when he's flying. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That gets
That's
a big
such-
laugh.
Why
That's
did
such
you
great-
choose that line delivery? Because it's great.
Yeah.
He just kind of he says that like he
No,
says
you,
yes
you,
like that.
you do that.
It's just how he speaks.
But I wonder why you put it in the movie. But then I guess
This
you're
is my
right.
favorite Dooms Vince bit where
Yeah.
he's just he's doing random facial expressions and we just like picked that section
So
of his
we shot a lot of, and I did this with Spawn Year too, just Vince making various facial expressions, and he is such a good comedic improv actor that I can throw just emotions at him, and he can do all of that on cue. So I can go like, look scared, look perturbed, look freaked out, look whatever I come up with. And he'll do something great every time. And so whenever we do floating head stuff, which we did for Spawn Year, and part of the reason I came up with this idea of Dooms Vince being a floating head in a jar is another Spawn Year callback, because we had all that big floating head stuff. And I thought it would be fun if he was that through the entire movie, but it also let me use more of him, because Vince is real busy. He's not a regular on the channel anymore. Originally, he agreed to do just a cameo for this, and I gambled with it when I decided in the script I was going to want him to be the main bad guy, and I didn't even ask his permission. I just wrote the whole thing, and I went, well, I guess if he doesn't go for it, I'll rewrite it. And yeah, same thing with Brandon. Except Brandon was already committed to do the movie. He just didn't know how much acting he would be doing.
You told me I was in a significant amount of it, and then I was like, how much could I really be in it? And then you gave me the script, and I'm like, damn.
But yeah, so part of the reason that I put Vince in a jar like that is because I knew it would be more like effective time-wise. Like it would be more practical to get him to be able to do pages of dialogue on a green screen.
So really quick, with your this scene that we're looking at right now, you just shook Dooms Vince's head. I will wish till the day that I die that you had had a more pronounced shaking of this helmet. But the thing is that this was early on in the shoot, and at the time we were terrified of damaging it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not why I didn't shake it harder.
But still, it wouldn't. We didn't.
I was
wanna...
worried about dropping it, but I wasn't really. That's not the reason I didn't shake it more. I just thought it was enough. I don't know. I'm still fine with it.
I'm fine with it. I didn't even have a problem with it.
I just wish it was.
Also, I like your
more.
purple fingerless gloves here.
Oh, and that was a whole situation when you had your
Oh.
your black ones and your purple ones, and we couldn't find them. And
Yeah, there's a section where you're just wearing completely different gloves.
There's a
in
whole
scene.
issue with it with 88, because when we started with 88, he was supposed to have gray gloves, and then we didn't shoot with 88 for a while, and when we came back to it, none of us remembered they were supposed to be gray, and I went to black ones, and then we went back at some point and saw the gray glove footage, and we went, oh crap, they were supposed to be gray, and I have subsequently lost those. I don't know where they are.
but it didn't wind up really mattering that much. You can hardly tell.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody picks up on it.
Yeah.
Guys, there's a shot I wanted to point out that I think we're already past, where we're looking at Dooms Vince's head sitting in the chair.
Yeah.
And you actually see my reflection walking across it.
Yes,
Yeah.
I did see that,
I
and
put
I
all
thought that was really cool.
I put all that crap in the
I'm
bag.
proud of that shot.
And Dad didn't, like, no one knew what I had put in the bag, so that take is, like, everyone's first reaction to, like, all the stuff that I put in there.
We had a hard time getting through it because I didn't know what was going to come out of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You'll notice I toss another Mountain Dew can across camera like I do in the opening scene,
I did catch that. Yeah.
which I didn't even do on purpose, but it just turned out to be a neat callback to that.
Also, I really
there's
like this.
Several places where I throw
part of the
Mountain Dew
score.
cans.
Yeah. That's cool.
And then this just occurred to me. I guess you could. We didn't do this on purpose. Yes, all the John Williams stuff is awesome.
Yeah.
I guess you could say the way I take out Dooms Vince's floating head in the climax, we built to with all the Mountain Dew can throwing. I never thought of
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Chekhov's Mountain Dew.
I really like how
Chekhov's
these
Bob
characters
Blast.
in Superman 64 just kind of wobble back and
Yeah,
forth.
they don't really have any like range of motion. They're just like little statues that
So,
rotate.
the Superman 64 gag got a huge laugh at the premiere.
Yeah.
like every time we cut back to it, it got a laugh, and it's hilarious.
Well, we played it for drama, and I think it's just inherently kind of funny because of that. There are two places where the video game seems to respond to something I say. The first is with Wave Race when it goes, "You almost had it," and then of course we have Doomsman say that.
Yeah.
And then here,
That's actually in the script, but
yes, and then here we have "There's no time to waste."
Yes,
that's not
I
even
that too.
Yeah, that was a happy
cracks me up.
accident.
I just did that in post.
My beard had grown really long at this point, and I was really wanting to shave it, but I couldn't because continuity, and I was really kind of regretting that decision. But it was the longest it was, and then I just let it continue to grow forever.
Well, also, like, the week after we stopped shooting was when you shaved. It's like, that's not Brandon. That's not, who's that?
Okay, this is the best part in the entire movie.
I love the cool spot on the wall.
Yeah.
This really worked out. The way this lamp drops, and
Oh,
if you
man.
look real close, there's a piece that
There's a
flies up
piece.
right into the lens.
Yeah.
We
In
broke
high
the
school.
lamp. There
Oh
it
man,
is.
it's great.
We broke
So,
the lamp.
man.
this is my buddy
Maybe the
Kareem,
cat.
who's been on the channel a couple times and used to be in my creative writing group. And he flew out to do the movie. I cast him.
Oh, I ADR'd his steps in this shot right here.
So that was the actual broken lamp.
I really wanted a kind of like larger black man for this role, and I was thinking like, who do I know? And I thought Kareem might go for it, and he was a little shy about it. He was like, I've never acted before. I don't think I'll be very good. And he was hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, he was spectacular.
No, he's the best
And
actor.
he spent a whole
in the
weekend with
movie.
us. We all loved him. It was just the best time. I am calling back to a couple of movies with this scene, which is why it needed to be a big black guy. I'm calling back to Back to the Future 2,
Yeah, what's the other one?
and the other one is James Earl Jones in Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
which is where rules there ain't no rules comes from. I lifted that directly from Field of Dreams because again, it's an intentionally self-indulgent project. I put all my favorite things in it, and I had to have a Field of Dreams reference somewhere.
Now, Cap, I know you and I have been to the Field of Dreams together. Jason, have you been?
Jason's
to the...
been too.
You've been?
I have.
Okay.
I took him out there.
It was like, I think like winter, like January or something, and it was like really wet. Like everything was like, but yeah.
So it's still purple right now because the time machine is on. And then every time I pull the expansion pack out of the 64, it goes back to whatever the color correction is supposed to be for that time period.
Two cool spots.
There's a lot of... Yes, and those cool spots are usually in this room, but we decided to use them in the past redress instead of the regular day, just to make it more 90s. But the tricky thing, Brandon, is there's already a lot of 90s stuff in my house. So it's like, what stuff do you take out so that you can then use it to make the period clear? I consulted with Kareem about what things he thought would be cool from this period to put in the set that he thought his character might have in this house, which is why I bought that vinyl record, that vinyl record that's in the background.
Midnight Marauders, yeah.
So,
And I actually gave him that as a gift. And then he also asked for Michael Jordan. So that's why there's a Michael Jordan poster there.
I filmed that last scene there, and he actually hit you a little bit harder with the bat than you were prepared for. It may have been in the shot that you used, but you can... we only did that a couple of times.
I don't remember that.
recall.
I remember asking him to do it harder, and I could never get him to go as hard as it needed to look.
It does look like he did it hard.
Yeah. Wendell says that too.
But
Goddamn Merry Christmas! I'm very proud of.
That was you came up with that on the day.
On the day,
Yeah.
I did not. I had a real generic line there, and I thought it needed to be punchier and funnier. And Kareem was gave his character a bit more attitude than I originally thought he might, which was great.
Curry was so much of a pleasant surprise because he did
Yeah.
come in. He was like, "Hey, I've never acted before. I don't know if I could really do this." And then it's like, "No, man, you're good. You are very good."
Yeah, and so we started telling him, like, you can ramp it up. You
Yeah.
can go a little crazier. And then, luckily, I got him to go so crazy, I finally had to back him off.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's some really good bloopers.
The bit where he comes after me with the bat, there's a blooper where he just starts screaming. He's like, "Ah!" And it's so good. I mean, it's so funny, but I had to reel him in.
Oh, let's talk about
Also-
Jude Smith's murders.
Sorry, Brandon, what were you going to say?
Just one more thing about the last scene was that was a non-working PS1 that you
Yeah.
had that we put on
Yeah.
top of that TV so that he could knock it with the bat. And then
just
I think it broke the,
Full on broke it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
The lid.
it broke the lid after we did that. So
Well, we had to do it so many times because he kept like missing it. And,
We
like,
broke a decent amount of stuff in this.
We did, yeah.
There was a couple things in the script that called for more breakage that we ended up not doing. Like,
Really?
like Doomsvin's, when his robot suit, when he comes into the basement, is supposed to drop a glass on the floor, and we never did that. We ended up knocking Worf over instead.
Yeah.
and you were just to touch on that room one last time, but you were talking about how we redressed that set so
Yeah.
many times. There were certain things that we couldn't, that, like you said, the bookshelves we couldn't move, but we also couldn't move your big stereo console. So we had to cover it for part of that.
No,
And-
we covered what we did was we covered it for the modern stuff because that's actually
Right.
what we do,
Yeah.
and so we took it off.
This is
Oh,
For
that,
the
yes,
90s
yes,
stuff.
yes,
this is
yes,
Brandon's
yes.
favorite shot in the movie.
Yeah,
yes.
'cause
Yes,
this guy
yes.
just like
That was another happy accident. We filmed that. Cap sat down. I was like, Cap, please sit on the wall. Just thinking to myself. And then he sat on the wall, and then the cyclist came
Chris.
up.
Hey, it's me.
So I'm pretty sure the most number of references to superhero movie score is actually in this particular track. You've got the Incredible Hulk Lonely Man theme happening here, and then you're going to get some X2 here in a minute. Or no, I'm sorry, the 90s X-Men theme will pop up.
I'm just like, okay, whoever that guy is.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
I like all the coverage we got of that, all the different angles. That
I-
easily could have been one shot.
I-
I'm glad we moved the camera. Really.
it always gets me when I love how it's edited
There's that blue
together.
artifact again, Brandon.
This location was Jason's idea right
Yes,
here.
it was.
Jason knew about that little spot next to this pool in the subdivision
that's
nearby.
right.
Yeah.
So we drove over there to get that.
So much of this
I
scene
knew-
was just like, hey,
I
what's
knew
that?
about this spot.
Here's a funny factoid. If I'm going to Lawrence, I'm walking in the exact wrong direction right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should be
He's
going
Mikey.
toward
And
North 435.
He's actually playing Wave Race here, which is a callback to Wave Race earlier in the movie.
Unfortunately, it's hard to see.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it.
But yeah, that is my son Mikey. So you notice the heavy blue color correction here. We did tints through almost the whole movie, which hopefully doesn't come off too irritating, but I wanted it to denote different time periods and moods, of course. So we're kind of putrid green at the start because it's a bleak future and it calls back to Spawn year.
And the Matrix.
Spawn year has driven me insane, and then the 90s is blue, and then the alternate present day is gonna be red and sepia tone. What is Jeff humming here, Jason?
He's humming "Wake Up Call" by They Might Be Giants,
That's right.
and then at the beginning
So-
he's humming a Zorak theme or a Zorak song. I don't remember which one.
Which is supposed to it's on the tip of my tongue. It's like a love song. But anyway, we did that to foreshadow 88 because 88 is gonna sound and move like Zorak from Space Ghost, and then we also have a Zorak statue in the scene coming up here, also to set up 88.
Oh yeah, true.
I'm sorry, Brandon. You look like
I was just going to say, in that scene, so this is a real life location of yours in your past, but that truck belonged to your mom and Jeff's neighbor.
right.
Yeah.
So we had it. They were gracious enough to let us use that as a prop, and I don't think I was there for that part of the shoot when you shot Jeff's scene.
You weren't quite there yet.
I was
yeah.
there for your mom's stuff because I filmed that.
Right.
We had to do a few takes with your mom.
That's the TNG theme. Wendell's a big Star Trek fan. He's actually done music for Star Trek fan films in the past, and he's got a lot of Star Trek in this because, of course, we reference Star Trek a lot, and I'm a giant Trek fan. So you got the TNG theme with the piano there. You're gonna get the Klingon movie melody in several places, including in this scene. And then you're also gonna hear the Spock death in Wrath of Khan when we kill Diamond.
So we
Maybe
can
hear more Star Trek here.
I'm noticing that more than just the stuff I remember filming in your basement for the later stuff, we just got a really good shadow of you on the door. We get a lot of good shadows of you in this movie.
Oh, and there's
kind of the duality of Cat.
I gotta have this ominous presence because I'm my own worst enemy.
There's another shadow.
I'm the hero and
the
the
truth
villain.
is out there.
The truth.
And
So-
this is an awesome room.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things doing this movie was putting the set together.
Yeah.
This, of course, is not what my old bedroom looked like. Of course, I wasn't going to be able to perfectly put that together. And I didn't, as I mentioned in the review at the end of the movie, I didn't actually live here in 1996. I was in Arkansas.
Do you even remember what your room looked like?
I mean, yeah, I remember a lot of things about it. But there's
But
a
that wall is
gigantic
legit.
desk I would need to rebuild.
Yeah.
But that wall's been there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we built the whole thing around that wall. That's why we wanted to shoot here. Because my mom and my stepdad put that together for me when I was in junior high. And if you look real close, there's the moon with the bite taken out of it from the tick on that wall.
Yeah,
It always gets me. You like keep picking up things in my room, and I
Yes.
keep taking
You
it
keep
from
taking
you,
and
putting
putting
it
it
back.
back.
Yeah.
And it's
Well, and-
hilarious.
There was a really cool thing. I'm really proud of myself because there was a thing where you like picked up a movie, like a VHS tape at the wrong time, and then I was able to remember the continuity and like put it back at the right time, so it all worked.
That was really complicated because I wish we'd mapped this out before we started shooting, because we came up with what we would grab in the moment, and then when we would do more takes of it, we would try to remember what it was to match it.
I think we kind of set. I mean, we did blocking here like that morning before we started shooting.
Did we block that stuff?
We blocked everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that. I thought we were coming up with it in the moment and then trying to remember it.
I mean, the turtle thing, like this thing, when you put the VHS tape on that, like you didn't.
Oh, you
that
set
wasn't
it down on
blocking.
the
Yeah.
You set it on the shelf. I remember that.
Yeah.
So this was the scene that we overshot the most in the movie. Jason and I did this over and over and over again from lots of different angles, and we did one whole. And we're talking 4 or 5 pages. We did cover to cover, and we memorized this. We practiced it for a couple weeks up until this shoot, and we did one full take as like a 2-shot, and then we did one where Jason's holding the camera and I'm talking directly into the lens. We do a lot of right into camera stuff in this movie, and then we did another one reversed from that, and then the next day we did this over 2 days. We actually did a whole weekend shoot for this. So we set this up that Friday, and we shot all day Saturday, we shot all day Sunday, and on Sunday we came back and we shot the rest of the scene after the spawn your device stuff in the basement. But then we came back and we reshot all of this again with Brandon walking all over the room with the camera.
Yeah.
Yes. That was. I was even crouched in that corner at one point.
Yeah.
So you'll see pieces of all of those shoots through this, but we definitely shot more of it than we ultimately needed.
Well, and we both knew this specific scene inside out. Like there were definitely some scenes where we totally like faked knowing the scene. This scene we knew.
We didn't have it fully memorized.
We had this.
I don't want
yeah.
the lighting in that shot. Sorry, what, Brandon?
Just
Move the light just a little farther to the left, folks.
Just a couple of things. I helped dress this set. That's my TV and remote in the background.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh,
And
yeah.
I had a good idea. There's a hole in the wall behind the bed, but we had the Batman cut out. So here's the Batman cut out again. And it was my idea to place it up on top and make it look like Batman's coming up out of the back of the bed and cover the hole at the same time.
That was a good choice.
I'm glad you came up with that.
Yeah.
And in fact, my mom liked it so much, she's been frantically asking me to give her a cardboard cutout
Really?
like that. Like I could just go out and get one of those again. Like,
That's hilarious.
That's
Tell her where she can buy one.
I gotta backtrack for just a second. Would you, Jason, talk a little bit about Math Tutor?
Math tutor.
Oh.
Oh yeah, that wasn't in the script. We came up with that on the day. Basically, we thought all that stuff with your parents was kind of lame, and so that was actually like written in the script. There were a lot of things like that that we ended up changing like a week or two, or even on the day.
They didn't get to do anything. They just kind of, they're doing their own thing, but they don't get to interact with me. And the idea was supposed to be I sneak past both of them. And then I went, they need to be real cameos.
Yeah.
So, again, on the day, like with something else we mentioned earlier where I wrote, with Kareem, where I wrote that line on the day, we came up with Math Tutor. And honestly, we maybe overdid it a little bit, the Math Tutor gag. I don't know if it's actually as funny as we thought it was in the day, but...
I think it's hilarious, but the thing is...
It's
we ended up
not my
having...
favoriteest joke in the movie.
Brandon's like, you're right.
a very
sucks.
polite.
Well, here's the
it's not
thing.
my
I think it's
favorite.
funny, but the problem is we had to change a couple lines in the movie, or in this scene, so we had to put Math Tutor back in a couple times, and there was even a line where you like
it's a
ad-libbed it.
little clunky for exposition.
This wharf standee in the background, that
That comes
appears
back.
later in the movie.
A couple times, yeah.
Yeah.
We're just talking about that
I
too. That's
really
the
love
one
the '89 stuff that Wendell's doing in the score here.
I had to make that standee glitch. We'll talk about that.
So at the start of this speech, you hear the opening melody from the start of the credits in '89 with the piano stuff. The da na 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 na. Or I guess not piano, but is that string stuff?
So do you remember this, Cap, when we were setting up, we were putting some of the turtle stuff up there on those shelves? Your turtle van kept wanting to roll down we had to like get it to stop sliding
I actually
down
completely forgot about that.
I don't remember that at
It
all.
started to, we kept rolling behind it, and like we'd get it just set just right, and it would just, we'd just start to move, and I had to put something up there to keep it from moving.
So again, just a ton of musical references. Wendell and I were both a little bit worried that they'd get intrusive, but I don't think they ever do. He does stuff like, he does 10 seconds of Virtua Fighter music when we're talking about Virtua Fighter, and if he did that kind of thing every single time we reference something, it would get obnoxious, but he does just enough of it. And then that blew my mind when he does the piano melody.
I just caught that now too.
Yeah, do you remember that?
I do.
Chris, do you know where that's from?
Yeah, it's from the original channel intro, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It comes up twice. Listen for it again. You'll hear it. I think you hear it again in the Spawn Your Device scene.
Right.
Okay, so where did you get that from? Do you even remember?
Ask Dan's News.
Oh, okay.
Because Dan's made the old moving logo for Geekvolution, and it always had that. I don't know where he got it.
Yeah.
I don't even know
It's
if you
probably
remember.
just
very
some
thoughtful.
stock. It's probably just a
Yeah.
stock thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very thoughtful musical cue.
The Spawn sound was kind of late in the game. There wasn't a there wasn't a sound effect there.
Oh,
excuse me,
and
for the longest time.
That's a redesign from like the Spawn Your device. That is a redesign from Spawn Your. So originally that is just like a USB drive. And then in this, it's a GameCube, not a GameCube, a Dreamcast something.
That's also a self-indulgent reference. Do you know why I did that?
No, I just thought it was bigger and it looked...
So practically, it ends up being nicer for the insert because it's just easier to see, and for back-off shots when I'm holding it. But the real reason I did it, and nobody is going to pick up on this, but the real reason I did it was for an intentional, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like anachronism, because of the Plinkett thing with Generations, where he's annoyed that the emotions chip is different.
Oh man, you did that on purpose.
I did that on purpose, yeah. So the emotions chip in TNG in what is it? Brothers. and then Descent is real tiny, and then in Generations, because there's an audience that hasn't seen that and won't understand what's happening, they make it gigantic. So I did that with the Spawn Your
And
Device.
it's floating on a piece of string.
Yep. Anyway, that's why I did that.
In this scene here, where Cap is filming Jason walk through the basement.
By the way, I would have no idea who 7 of 9 is at this point.
Just to the right.
Oh, that's true.
This is 1996. He would look over there and be like, "Who's this hot chick in the Star Trek area?" Because that's not a camera.
I didn't
thing.
think
right,
about that,
right
yeah.
there where
Yeah.
Jason just walked past. Those are the stairs that go upstairs. Chris is actually Chris and I
Yeah.
were hiding different areas of the basement during this shoot so that we wouldn't be on camera.
Pretty sure
Yeah.
you can see Brandon's eyes peeking out at some point.
Yeah, we just have like
I'm
Metal Gear
behind-
Solid it,
So
you know?
right in front of Jason, right behind him now, there's an AC unit that I was hiding behind, and I was peeking through one of the crevices.
Okay, I have a question. I don't know why I specifically go to the phone. Like, there are so many things in... Also, there's a Quick Trip cup that Brandon left out.
That drives me nuts every time.
Yeah.
Why is that there?
I will say, I
Chris,
just...
that was that Geek Flution piano melody.
Oh,
again. It's right there.
God, yeah.
What were you gonna say, Rand? Or what were you gonna say, Chris?
Oh, I was just gonna say too. I mean, I imagine you probably just had to talk to Commissioner Gordon. You had to talk. You had to call the commissioner.
No, you're right. It is kind of weird that you pick up the phone right there.
Yeah.
That track was, of course, the old Superhero Rewind theme, Backyard Super Kid. I say the old, we still use it.
Yeah.
By Justin Roberts, retooled as a Sega Genesis chip tune by my buddy Aaron Hickman, who actually flew out for the premiere and hung out with us all weekend.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun with him. He was great, and he actually programmed that for a Sega Genesis and played it out through a Genesis. So what you're hearing is Genesis music played through a Sega Genesis. And then the Game Boy music you heard earlier is the same thing with a Game Boy, but Wendell did it.
So this table here, it's not extremely stable. It shakes, and so we had to make sure when picking up and putting stuff down. There were a couple of times throughout the movie we had to make sure that it didn't move on us or start shaking.
Well, we actually kind of liked the comedic effect of it later with the Batman TV on it during the climax. You pointed that out while we were shooting, and you were like, "It's bouncing. Is that a problem?" And then we all went, "No, it's hilarious."
Oh. This speech, there's actually a line cut out of it, where you call yourself like a machine designed for exposition or something like that. That we cut out because you call yourself Captain Logan, and I wouldn't know what that is yet.
Yeah, so when we get to the next scene, Jason's character is supposed to react to Doomsvent saying Captain Logan like he's never heard it before. And then what's amusing is he actually walks by a wall hanging that says Captain Logan.
Yeah, but I wouldn't understand what that.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what that.
Yeah, so that's not a problem. This is some of the earliest stuff we shot.
Yeah.
This was the first night of shooting. Not this stuff. That
was way later.
That I did way
later. That was
later.
in post-production, I think.
But do you remember what you're reacting to?
Oh man, I do remember.
Do you know?
I was reacting
what we're actually
to
showing you?
we just started watching 2004 Catwoman.
Yeah.
And
Yes. I remember.
I had never seen it before, so I'm actually
Oh,
reacting
no.
yeah, in it.
So you're reacting to
those
that.
are genuine reactions.
Yeah.
I mean,
Except
okay,
for-
that makes sense.
I will say, I didn't actually think you would keep For the Love of God. That was like...
It's not a great delivery, but
Yeah, I was joking when I said
I didn't
that.
have much
Yeah.
to work with.
Yeah.
Again, it was our first night. We were a little timid. I do like the close-up shot of you in side
This
profile.
is a good shot, too.
That's a pretty good shot.
Yeah.
And here's Freddy. And he is hilarious in this.
This is funny.
Brandon, I'll give you credit for that shot. If you shot it, I cannot remember. I thought I might have been holding the camera there, but I do not remember.
When I'm laying down on
when
the...
his hand is up like this, I don't
I
know
think
which
that
of us
was
is
you.
holding the camera. I thought
I
it
was
was
pretty
me.
sure
Yeah,
that
I
was
think
you.
it was you.
Here's the monkey.
The monkey.
So we put the monkey in the background of several shots. That's kind of a family heirloom at this point. He's a real special toy for me from my childhood that we've used in all kinds of stuff. And he's had his own show. And we're
Yeah.
talking about giving him his own show again, actually.
That'd be fun. The truth is out there.
That mask poster shows up a bunch too.
And that
your little
foreshadows the
Toodaloo.
reviewer.
Yes, the mask poster foreshadows the reviewer. That's right. Sorry, what, Brandon?
Your little Toodaloo there with your fingerless gloves when Freddy's walking out of the room.
Yeah.
Gets me.
I just realized
thanks, man.
there's a Superman animated series Superman doll right there, and this is all because of Superman 64.
Oh man, that's true.
Just a little bit tiny together. It's like poetry. It rhymes.
It also never occurred to me that he's wearing a Superman shirt sitting right next to that.
Yeah.
There's a theme.
Well, especially since like
Well, we're doing a whole motif with the Superman shirts.
Yeah.
Well, also like the doll is just like weirdly proportionate enough, like the N64 polygons too.
It's so weird looking. Yeah, I wanted to make sure we got some crappy stuffed animals in here.
Yeah.
But there's so much good stuff to look at here, though, too. And like that paper sorter that's made out of cardboard.
Yeah.
You've had that forever.
Yeah, and I actually put a bunch of... I found an old Trapper Keeper with old, like, junior and high school papers.
And we looked through some of it.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
there's
that was
actually
fun.
there's actually a bunch of stuff in here from this period or just after it in my life, which is pretty cool.
Oh, wait,
you can't really see it, but
We've gone past my favorite thing in the entire movie,
Oh, talk
which
about
is what old guy shows up at your house?
Yeah.
That is, I don't know why I did that, but it's hilarious.
it's one of my favorite line readings. It's quite.
But I
wonderful.
also okay, we need to talk about this toy because
Yes.
halfway
Yes.
through the shoot we realize his head like goes up and down. I don't know why he does that.
There's a blooper about it.
I'm having a hard time not just like doing it in the scene because you can like make his head go like a turtle.
I forgot to mention. So this was a while back now, but just to backtrack for a second, when 60 first walks up to the room, the movie that the 12-year-old is watching is Mask of the Phantasm. And that was in the script from the beginning. I liked, I like to have incidental stuff that's thematically related to what's happening in the movie as much as humanly in the story as much as possible. So we have the bit where where Batman says to Andrea, "What will vengeance solve?" Just as I'm trying to get revenge on the universe for terrible superhero movies, and I forgot about it for the longest time, Jason. There are cuts it's not in.
Yeah.
And then I finally went back in and got it in there.
In the game room scene earlier, behind your Virtua Fighter machine, there's a Sonic poster. Here behind Jason, there's another Sonic poster.
Yeah, it's a different Sonic poster too.
We were
Wait, I think.
Yeah.
Might be the same.
also, let me mention, we were supposed to have, I just remembered this, a prop VHS box for Mask of the Phantasm. And I ordered it from eBay, and then the guy declined to deliver it for whatever reason. He refunded it, and I never got it. And so I don't think you can see it now. And I wanted to do an insert. There wasn't a good place for it, but I actually just wrote in pen on like a taped off TV VHS Mask of the Phantasm.
Yeah.
And so
I remember that.
When you look at the VCR, that's actually what that is, but you can't read it.
I forgot about that because you had trouble with the. I remember that tape.
Jason's reaction here to the speech is another of my favorite line deliveries in the movie.
Yeah, this got a huge reaction at the premiere.
Well,
Everyone was like,
Your comedic timing is perfect.
Yeah.
yeah, it's great.
When,
No, this scene was so fun to shoot.
that's another of my favorite things that Wendell does. He puts in an Independence Day sting when I say Independence Day. And then that's X2 music again. And then Jason's going to walk up and say, goals are important.
And that tick right there
So
would have
good.
been visible in the
You turn
basement
around.
walkthrough.
Yep. It's a good reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know where those are.
Also, that I just remembered this, and I don't think I did this on purpose, but that Daredevil comic in the background, One Lives, One Dies, we actually use in just before the climax. And I did that in that scene as foreshadowing for the death of 60.
I'm pretty sure we put it there on purpose here too.
Do you think?
I'm pretty sure we did. I think you're very specific about what we hung up there.
Yeah, I'm not sure why I would have though, because we hadn't done that shot yet. I don't think. Maybe we had. I forget. But I wasn't specific in the script about what the comics were. So if we hadn't shot that yet, I wouldn't have known I was going to use that. But I came up with that on the day when we shot it, where I was like, oh, one lives, one dies. And then 80s... Well, and it actually works both ways. Because 88 goes back and kills 60. But also, 60 lives, and presumably the reviewer takes a fatal hit and possibly dies. Although I don't know that we make it clear enough how bad that wound is supposed to be.
And then Wolverine 1 is also up there because
that's the poster.
The poster is based off that. Yeah.
If I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken,
the movie poster is a parody of that specific comic.
if I'm not mistaken, a toy we just saw on one of those shelves is a toy that came from a bin that you bought, a giant bin of McDonald's toys.
Yeah, there's a few in there actually from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got a video on the channel of me and Brandon and Adam and Eric going through that barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a big barrel. It was multiple barrels.
No, we just bought one.
Oh,
the guy
one.
had several barrels, but I
Okay.
only bought the one. This is another of my and Jason's favorite bits of score.
Okay, this is my favorite score, and also all the way through the first reviewer section is like all my favorite stuff. But this is particularly with the Pop-Tart. So the Pop-Tart.
There's a Pop-Tart
People
store.
always ask about the Pop-Tart. They're like,
That's
"Why
a
is that here?"
reference. That, believe it or not, that's a reference to Spawn Year, where you just freak out and yell Pop-Tarts for some reason. And then in one of the episodes, and then I think there's a reference to
So
Pop-Tarts.
that light is blinking too fast because I had to speed that footage up.
I was not there for
I
this
wish
shot.
I could have done something about that.
No.
Actually, Connor shot this.
This was just me, Dad, and Connor.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we've not talked about Connor yet. I think this is the first thing in the movie that he shoots.
Well, we'll see him soon.
Yeah, that's true. So there were a bunch of places like that where Vince, he's really good at follow through, where he would go past a take and do something funny with his eyes or his mouth or something, and he just always gives me a ton to work.
I love that part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris, Jason, and I set
Oh,
up
man.
this.
I know, we were just
this police tape out there.
This is Nerdstalgia Comics and Collectibles, which is now my go-to comic shop, and I spend money with them every week. And
That's where he gets all his comics from that he reviews with
Chris.
Yeah, with me. Hey.
This place is right. Cap knows about this place because it's right next to where Jason takes dance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they just opened about a year ago.
And it's really funny
Maybe
because
a year and a half
with
ago.
this shoot, I actually
Walked over from.
I
dance.
walked
Yeah.
over from there. Yeah.
You had a long commute.
So this is the first time that you see the reviewer suit, and of course we have to open with a close-up on that creepy mask, and people think the mask is so weird and creepy, and they ask me all the time, like, why do you look like a horror movie character? Like, why are you like Darkman or something? And I'm like, well, it's
I love this
because
shot.
Yeah.
my buddy Pierce built this mask for us. We thought he was going to build the whole costume. And then I ended up getting this suit for Christmas from one of my brothers-in-law, and I decided to build a whole suit around it. And so it's real pulpy. It's like like a Dick Tracy or The Mask or something like that.
Spirit too.
The Spirit,
yeah.
This is a
The
reference to
Shadow.
specifically the finale of Spawn Year.
So,
But
where
that's
you're
why
in a
it's
comic
creepy.
shop.
Pierce built the Spawn suit for me back for Spawn Year. Everything he builds is creepy and horror-ish in some way, and I think we made it work.
Yeah.
So when you're writing in your journal there in the last scene, I was filming that, and you kept holding the book by the spine with the back of your with the palm of your hand, and it kept causing the pages to. So you were trying to juggle holding the book this way while the pages were trying to fight back closed on you while you're pretending to write, and it was really funny.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
I don't remember that either.
I don't remember that being an issue.
But
It wasn't.
We
But
had
it was just funny when you
we had
did
an
it.
angle problem.
Oh,
for a second.
Yeah,
here comes the wind.
always. Yes.
My second favorite character.
The wind. Again, that was perfect timing too.
Yeah.
I mean,
so-
I think Chris made most of these.
So Chris made
Yeah, but
these,
Nikki made.
all of us came
one of
up
them.
with
Yeah.
ideas for these, and initially in this montage, I just had Ken Burns effects across them, and then we decided to actually shoot them, putting them on that fence, which is just in my backyard.
yeah.
Yeah.
And mention the fact of the person who is putting up the poster is actually a character in the movie.
Yeah, and I don't know if people pick up on that, but that is supposed to be one of thanks, Brandon, one of the henchman clones that you get in the climax that the reviewer is shooting. I don't know, just the more we talk about this, it's like, this plot is really involved.
Yeah.
It is.
But
I love that
That's
shot.
why we couldn't
Yeah.
put it together on
Wolverine.
set.
it's also why it's almost 3 hours long.
I could never remember where we were in the plot or what we'd shot already.
So
Yeah.
a lot of people's favorite running gag seems to be Chris with the Amalgam comics.
Yes.
Which wasn't that kind of a second-hand thing? We needed Chris to do more in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need like.
So you became an extra in that first time we see you.
Well, and then it was always in the script that we would have somebody getting counterfeit comics in that scene, Brandon.
Right.
And we
Yes.
went, well, we've already shot the bit with Chris on the bench with the Amalgam comic.
Yeah.
We went,
Yeah.
what if that was the same character?
Yeah.
And then when we get in the coffee shop, we went, well, we need to populate this with people. What if that character is here too? And so it just became a running gag.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
kind of tie a bunch of things
that
together.
security cam
Exactly.
footage is awesome, and I found that that's actually there. Like they have a security cam set up in that. So I found this place.
Jason reached out to a guy that we were going to church with who has this farm. He had been there before for like a youth group trip or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he graciously allowed us to come out here and shoot. We did 3 different shoots out there with him, and he was really nice and gracious. And
I love the
everybody,
music in this
yeah.
part.
Everybody loved him.
I shot all this stuff behind the reviewer, and this stuff is all great.
The walk through the house is shot the night after we shot this stuff, so we had to cut all of that together.
So I really love how you.
This was the first thing we shot the night we did the ninja fight. Sorry, go ahead, Brandon.
You pull up to an open garage. You walk all the way to the other end of the house to the door. Go in. Walk all the way back through the house, back into the open garage from the inside of the house.
Yeah.
To find me.
Yep. So, this is Gary Coyle, not to be confused with Cole. We had his name wrong for the longest time, and
Yeah.
we had to add the Y right at the last minute. But anyway,
Well, that's the first I'm hearing of it.
That is
Yeah.
Freddie and Mikey's karate sensei. So black belt karate master who is of course, professional at this stuff, and he's actually worked on movies before. He has an IMDb page, and he's choreographed some local projects like this. So I asked him if he'd be willing to choreograph this scene, and he said, "Well, I've got experience, and I'll do more than that if you want." And of course, I had this lead ninja role, and I was like, "Oh God, would you play that? That would be fantastic." And he was like, "Yeah, of course." He was gung ho. He was all for it.
Yes!
We did several hours of training for this fight scene, and I think it shows. Like,
Yeah.
I think you can tell how prepared.
And
we
you
are.
almost cut him.
Yeah, 'cause
that
those
you'll see
scouts
that in the
are-
blooper cut.
Yeah. And that's
there's Connor.
And that was one take. We thought his delivery there was so funny. We said,
Yeah.
"Yep, print that." We didn't
yeah.
This
shoot
is some of
anymore.
my favorite stuff, like shooting wise.
This
but
was
we were
fun
all
shooting.
so tired,
We're
and
so-
we were all so cold.
It was really cold that night.
Oh,
I
It's such a
shot
nice
lot
area,
of this.
too.
I shot a lot of this, and I'm really proud of
Good job, Brandon.
of the ending. Of some of the shots in this scene.
Oh, and the lighting is really good. And now that it's got the sepia thing on it, I don't think it does enough justice for just how good the lighting was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can still see it. It looks great, but when you see it, and you'll see it with the blooper cut. But when you see it with full color, it's just crazy how bright and clear and clean everything was.
Can you please
Chris
let
Black,
people
I think.
know what this prop is that you're holding here?
Okay, so this is yet another Spawn Year callback, because in Spawn Year I have a period of days where my character has to write in his own blood. And he cuts himself with a Klingon Detag knife that is just a plastic toy from the mid-90s.
Why do you have to...
And unfortunately, Jason, when he was little, accidentally broke that.
Oh, man.
And so I had to buy a new one for this, but I wanted it to be that knife. So, and you know what's funny? I haven't gotten any crap for how fake that looks.
I think it's hilarious.
I think it's really funny, but you think
Yeah.
people would be like, that breaks the illusion, it just looks really fake.
Dude, it has a speaker on it.
I didn't notice that.
I didn't notice that either, no.
Because it's supposed to do, like, sounds and
It's
stuff.
hilarious.
Yes, Gary's delivery was hilarious and kept breaking us up, and he would not stop opening his lines with, "Look, man."
Look, man.
Yeah.
Man,
And
hey, man.
He utters the other swear word, too. The other F-bomb.
Yeah. Yes.
I had a lot of fun with sound effects in this scene. I went really over the top with it.
Yes, you did.
And of course, all the sound effects and most of the visual effects are just free stock things that I found on YouTube.
There was so much crouching filming this here. It was
A lot of crouching.
a lot of crouching tiger, hidden dragon.
And then the other ninja is another sensei at the dojo who works closely with Gary, and that's Sarah. She was also fantastic, and she had to learn how to do the move that she does with the what even is it? I can't even remember right now. Does she have knives? Or
No, she has,
Okay.
swords.
We have to talk
Party
about
this
the
way.
party this way.
Oh yeah, it is just full on swords, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. And so I was actually there when Gary taught her how to do that, which was fun. We just got lucky with this party, this wayside.
Oh, man,
And
it's
for a
great.
second, I was like, should we move it? And then I was like, no, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because that. Just past this room, you go out there, and that's where we did that fight. So that's where the party is.
So, Brandon,
Yeah.
did you, like, having a tattoo?
So no, actually, Cap wanted to do this. I was going to talk about this anyway. Cap wanted to put this tattoo on my head, and I was like, I don't know, man.
You're like, look,
He's
man.
like, if you're not comfortable with it, you don't have to do it. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, it's for the art, Brandon.
For the
It's
art.
For the art. And I was like, no, it's okay. I was like, it's cool. We can do it. And then I had to do it twice. One night and then another night. But it was all right.
He's also got a big diamond sticker on his.
on my lapel. This
Yeah.
is my own trench coat that I'm wearing.
And
yeah,
he's
he
wearing the
came up with this-
Cagliostro hat.
He came
Yeah,
up with this
the-
ridiculous wardrobe, and he insisted on the giant Cagliostro hat, which also is from Swan. So we use Swan
Yes.
props
Yeah.
all
I
throughout.
insisted on the overalls that I'm wearing, which are my own, and the Cagliostro hat, because I thought it would be funny if, me and my undercover had this gigantic hat. But another last minute thing was these darts. This dartboard was on the wall.
Yeah.
Oh, no, the
We
dark.
came up with that on the day with the ninja fight. We were like, well, what
Uh-huh.
if that's how the lead ninja introduces himself? He throws a dart, and then Brandon and I had this conversation later because we didn't shoot this exchange for another month. We came back and did this, and I was like, Brandon, what
We had
if
to move the motorcycle back.
Well, we were talking about like how the knife wound was gonna work. You were supposed to just get stabbed,
Yeah.
and then we went, well, what? Because remember, he throws a knife at me that goes
Yeah.
over my head,
Right.
and that was supposed to be the knife he kills you with.
Yeah.
But then we went, well, what if we kept going with this dart gag? So the reason he throws the dart at the board is because he's been throwing darts into Brandon.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so then we thought we would inject some comedy in the scene because this is a pretty dry expository scene and it gives you the motivation for the reviewer finally deciding to attempt the time travel. So this is Brandon like turning him around on this, and they have the reverse argument
Yeah.
that 60 and the 12-year-old version have before that. This is that whole thing reversed, right? But this lets us inject some comedy into it, where throughout it he just keeps pulling darts out. And of course we did no blood effects, we did no wound effects. We thought we'd be real Chris Nolan with that.
Yeah.
Partly because it just makes it easier to shoot, and partly because we can make it a little bit more family friendly that way.
On this night, Nikki, my fiance Nikki, was also with us, and there were these farm cats.
We
that
need to
would
talk about the
not-
cats.
They
That
would
will
not.
also
cat.
show up in the blooper cut.
Yeah, they would
Oh,
not get
man.
out of the way, and one of them.
No, I think it was
parked
just
right,
one.
There's this giant.
Well,
fluffy
yes.
cat.
Well, there were a couple on the other end of the property
really?
at the barns
Oh.
too. but one of them parked it right between my
There's the
legs and
last
would
one.
not move.
Yeah, it's hilarious because you're just laying there.
Yeah.
The cartel is destroying thousands of them.
Brandon, your performance in the scene is really good.
Yeah.
I appreciate
And,
that.
good,
and
yeah.
if I may, especially impressive because we were real lazy ass about this scene and did not memorize it. We are
No, we're looking at monitors.
we are looking at monitors off
Yeah.
the side.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and also, that wasn't supposed to be random originally. That was supposed to be.
Well,
It was originally supposed to be a girl, wasn't it?
Well, I talked about maybe casting it female,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, originally Diamond was supposed to be a completely unrelated character.
Randy, you could be a girl.
and
Oh,
then,
man.
Girl.
and then it made a lot of sense to me as I got into the second draft that Brandon would come back as Diamond, and so I thought, well, we could do it either way. We'll see how, because Brandon hadn't done a lot of acting. I was like, we'll see how he does in the regular scenes, or like where he's just playing himself, and then maybe I'll cast him as Diamond too, and it works out perfectly, especially because we got this new ending out of it, or partly out of it, because originally Brandon was supposed to come back as a hologram at the end. We'll get there when we get there, but I don't think I would have come up with the superhero ending, which, by the way, was a last-minute change 2 weeks before we shot it. We used to have a different ending. I wasn't going to be the reviewer at the end. I came up with that at the last minute, and Brandon comes back as Diamond there, which is part of the reason that I ended up doing it. I thought that was it just wraps the whole thing up.
Quick
nicely.
trip.
so when you pull out of the
There's so much to talk
driveway,
about here.
There's some. I want to talk about this Mustang stuff, but also the intermission's coming up. We need to talk about that.
Well, at least the intermission gives us time to backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
Real quick, what were you going to say, Brandon?
I was just going to say, when you pulled out of the driveway, I was hoping you'd pull out a little bit faster. I think ultimately that it worked, but you
Yeah,
had...
we need to
It's
talk
not.
about
It's
that.
not fast enough. You're totally right.
Maybe
Maybe I should have sped the footage up. I don't know.
Well, but it had a lot to do with how you were apprehensive about using that car in the first place. You were unsure about making that turn in his driveway, and I totally understood
It was five
that.
different
Well,
things.
also
So
you
it's
were
the fact
driving
that
around
it's-
him.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
so it's the fact that I've got to get around the cameraman and not hit him.
Yeah.
It's that I'm wearing this mask that obscures vision, and I'm wearing
Yeah.
contacts, which
Yeah,
I'm not
you-
used to doing. It's the fact that I'm in a rental car. It's the fact that it's dark,
Uh-huh.
and it's the fact that I'm on gravel.
Yes.
5 things.
And-
Can you believe that?
And
It's
so,
actually 5
while
things.
ultimately I wished you could have pulled out faster because it was kind of a moment, I don't think it wasn't the worst thing. It was fine. The other thing is
I wish
that the
we shot
camera
it.
went
I wish we'd
blurry,
done one more take.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like the blur.
and the
there.
blur looked good, and I thought that was a happy accident too.
It was. Okay, so Jason, talk about the intermission and why we did this.
So this is another callback to Spawn here. Yeah, the Spawn Your movie and Red Carpet had an intermission very similar to this, with this music, with Captain Spawn like dancing very strangely. And
So we thought it'd be fun to recreate that.
yeah, I don't think it's as fun just because you're not Spawn. I think very much like the fun with that was your Spawn.
Yeah, and this character isn't supposed to be funny in the same way. Like, obviously, this costume is kind of inherently absurd, but in the fiction of the piece,
Yeah.
I don't think we're actually laughing at it.
So the
No.
blue artifact is here too.
Yeah, it shows up everywhere.
By this point, we had long since dispensed with the shotgun mic.
That's
Yeah.
true. We certainly didn't need it here.
No,
No,
I'm
yeah,
just saying,
exactly.
at this point, it was long.
Oh,
gone.
also, I was singing this song. We didn't even have it.
No, that's not true.
Really?
Yeah, we put it on my phone. What
Oh.
you're remembering is I went off to the bathroom, and then these guys both came in and did their own jokey rendition of this, which will show up in the blooper
Oh,
cut.
yes.
And that was actually Brandon going do 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 do.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Oh
The
my
monkey.
goodness.
That was
The
pretty
monkey,
great.
yeah.
Part of the reason we did this too was just to get more mileage out of this comic shop.
Yeah.
The comic shop was a late edition idea too, by the way. So the reviewer's hideout was supposed to be this little basement in my mother-in-law's house. We would have had to actually drive 3 hours to shoot it. And we had planned on that for the longest time. And then I had an epiphany one day just driving around, and I was like, wait a minute, what if his hideout. Yeah, to do some slow motion. I was like, what if his hideout was an abandoned comic shop? And I love that idea so much, and it let us do another location shoot.
I love that.
And it just makes the present day stuff feel a little bit bigger. Like we don't go to enough places. You don't get enough of a feel of what this dystopian present day is like. And I wish we could have done like more world building stuff for the montage. And we could have gone to one or two more places maybe. Because most of it ends up just taking place in my house again.
Right.
But some of that, of course, is you just have to be economical with the resources that you have.
In between you potentially doing it at your in-laws' house and that shop, there was, I don't know how serious talk this was, but I was on board.
I know what you're about to talk about.
We were potentially talking about getting a model and dressing it up to look like blowing it up. And Cap's superhero car, his vigilante car, was going to be a little toy of the car that we
were going to get a Hot Wheel.
Yeah, we were going to get a Hot Wheel of it.
So when I drive up there, Connor shot that. That was we did all the car stuff the same night.
Yeah, so that was probably my favorite stuff in the whole movie, and Connor and I've talked about
that's my favorite music cue too, by the way. Besides the opening scene now, the new the Superman Still Lives stuff. But real quick, I just wanted to mention. So Connor's shooting the car driving up, and then when it cuts and it's me walking up to the house, we shot that like 4 months after.
Yeah,
that.
Yeah,
and you can tell because your stick like shifts hands, but you know whatever.
Oh, I missed that. But
this shot, Brandon.
This shot was
oh my
great.
gosh.
Yeah.
I had Cap was standing there.
Yeah, you did such a great job.
We recorded some stuff, and then Cap was standing there, and I was like, "Oh my god, this looks so good."
It's like that's
and I was
the
like,
shot.
"Cap, we have to." Cap was not
And then when you
understanding
open
what
the
I was
door,
going
it
for.
just completely lights up, and it's like.
And Cap wasn't sure what I was going for, and I was like, "Just trust me." And we got it, and it looked so good.
So it is just no fun to direct wearing this crap all over your face.
Oh, absolutely.
I can imagine,
I don't blame you
can't
for a
see
second.
super well. It's hard to get behind the camera and set up anything, and so you basically have to have somebody else make certain creative calls for you while you're still technically directing the thing,
and trust that it's.
That's what you want, and so like it ends up being even more collaborative in that way. So I think this stuff where I'm playing both of these parts cut together about 15 times better than I was expecting it to. I'm really happy with
this
it.
Was all shot between like 6 months, like all of this stuff, like the reviewer stuff was shot like 2 months after all the 88 stuff, and like it's all
some of this opening 88 stuff we shot even before the ninja fight.
Yeah,
I love this shadow work too.
I'll be right back.
I love the
shadow work
too. But go ahead.
Oh, can I go first?
Yeah.
And another thing, so when you first come down in this basement, we shot this earlier in the day, and while we've been doing a pretty good job of figuring out, windows and whatnot, you do actually see the windows very lit up from the daylight outside. But in movie, or in we've been calling that amongst ourselves as continuity. Cap's character pulls up in his vehicle with his headlights on. So.
No. It's not my character. It's so the reason that works is because of Doom's vents.
Yes. Doom's vents. That's right.
We have a shot where headlights light up the house. That's supposed to be the arrival of Doom's vents. I don't know if it plays, but that's what it's supposed to be.
I forgot that part.
I did kind of want more ominous music there. That was one bit I thought about asking Wendell to change. We actually don't have any music there at all, but whatever he would have done with it would be kind of awkward, probably leading into the more rousing music he does right after that, so that's why I didn't ask him for anything. But anyway, like Jason said, this is all over a bunch of months. It's hard to even remember when we shot certain bits, and there's even some reshooting in here. Some of the stuff on the reviewer side, we got a night where we got about half of this dialogue, and then we realized that I hadn't shaved for 2 weeks. And I had to shave and redo all of that dialogue.
And it was pretty upsetting at the time when we realized.
Well, yeah, because you did all this different camera work. Like, you went nuts with the angles in this scene, and I think it really helps to break up the monotony.
And that's one of the things why we were trying to figure out how to do that. And I was like, I think I've got some ideas. But I also love the idea that you've recreated these things with your holo technology down to the last detail.
Yeah.
And you can see like all of the mechanical stuff in the background of your air handling system and all this other stuff.
Well, we're talking
hilarious to
about
me.
too making this like really messing it up too, put like cobwebs up and dust and stuff like that too.
Well, originally the idea was it was basically an empty room.
Yeah.
Or a lot of stuff was out of it, and then there's maybe like a few superhero things he bought over the years, but for the most part everything's gone.
Yeah.
And practically I've just got too much down here. Where would I put it? Like
Yeah.
that was a problem.
Right.
And there was so much to shoot. I mean, like, all told, this is like 25, 30 pages. And so we're like, or at least 20. And so we're like, you know, if you count the Doomsvin stuff and the clones and all of that. And so we went, well, how can we do it in a way that's not going to feel too lame, like to not take everything out? At one point, we talked about putting up green screen and doing like made-up backgrounds and all kinds of crazy stuff. And finally, we went, well, what if it was hologram technology that he got from the future? He says there's an app for that, and he just brings the phone back and then is able to recreate everything from the detailed images in the Spawn-Your device, because we know he has that. We know that he can like take your mind in there and it feels real. So it would actually make sense that he brought the blueprint for all of that stuff back with him.
Yeah.
And I actually had to write all of the exposition about that the day we first started shooting this stuff.
So when you're watching this scene and you look at the reviewer's costume and you look at the right side of his face, you'll notice, since we filmed this way later, some of this stuff had been sitting around.
Man.
And the mask got folded a little
Forgot
bit.
about
I don't
that.
think it looks too bad, though.
I don't either.
We were really worried about it on the day.
Yeah, because look, you can see it hanging off the ear a little bit. But I was just like, it's showing up on camera, and I'm like, oh no. Oh no. It turned out
really
okay.
lucky all of this cut together, okay? There's so many elements. There's just a ridiculous number of shots, shot again over so much time. And it was a logistical nightmare figuring out what exactly to shoot over that 2-day weekend that we had Vince here and that we had Adam here. So Adam is a buddy of mine that's been on the channel for Star Trek stuff. And he doubles me because he was the one person we knew that was about the same height and build as me.
Yeah.
He's a little taller than me. He's a little bulkier than me, but he's close enough. And he was willing to double me both in the outside stuff when we killed 60 and here with 88. So anytime you see the reviewer and 88 on screen together, he's 88 and not the reviewer. There's only one scene where the reviewer is doubled, and that's Jayson in the reviewer costume. We'll point that out a little bit later.
And he plays you better than you.
So when you
plays
just
an old man
hit the
better.
ground with
That
your
is true.
staff, what happened when you hit the ground with your staff?
Yeah, what?
What do you mean? What
It
happened?
slips out from underneath you. Didn't you chip the concrete?
No,
Did,
it just
No.
It was just a weird hit. It just kind of slides.
yeah.
I kind of wish I'd done it again because it just looks weird.
You did damage your desk though, playing around with it.
Yep, that is also in the blooper cut.
Nice. This shadow work is
But yeah,
great.
Brandon,
Yeah.
every time we've watched the movie, you've been real on about that. Like I did something to the ground. Like no,
I remember
there wasn't
something
anything.
happening.
No, nothing happened. It just looks weird. The start of this cough is Adam's voice.
Yeah.
I was gonna dub myself in, and I just didn't think anybody would notice, so I left it. But like I said, logistical nightmare. So any shot where we're both there was Jayson and I meticulously deciding exactly what dialogue we would shoot that weekend. Because that weekend shoot, it was almost all action. We did very, very little dialogue at all. But we wanted to have a few token lines just to sell the interaction better. And so we did stuff like this where I'll sit down, I'll have this one line, and then I shot no other dialogue though.
And none of this is
besides,
split
like,
screen.
5 or 6. Yes, we did no composite shots whatsoever the whole movie.
Yeah,
and that
'cause
was Jason's idea. We'd initially planned it, and Jayson said, "What if we try to do it all with a double?" And I thought it would look better, and I think it does.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chris.
Oh, I was just gonna say too. We had conversations like, how are we gonna compose this? How are we gonna split this up? And it worked out that we didn't need to.
Which is funny because we have one composite shot with Vince and Doomsvin sitting next to each other at the end of Spawn Year. And Vince, as a character, never appears in this movie and is barely talked about.
Yeah.
And it's really funny.
Yeah.
If I had to do over again, I probably would rethink that and do something with him.
We were trying to fit him in somewhere, but
They take more risks.
okay, so I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What is the point of the coughing thing? I never really understood why you do that.
So the mistake I made is he doesn't cough anywhere else in the movie.
Okay.
He should be a little bit more sickly, but the idea is supposed to be he's so broken up about what's going on in this conversation that it's really like setting him off physically, where like he's almost making himself sick. And so then the reviewer says, "Are you all right?" And when he says no, he doesn't mean physically, he means mentally. And it's almost like a psychosomatic sort of thing.
So
Where it's like he's making himself sick.
He's dying
so,
of a broken heart.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
right here in this scene, we get a couple of shots where we had a secondary light on you, so it's casting multiple shadows behind you at a time when you're about to do more. You know, you're about to go through these motions again, and it's kind of like another split timeline thing. It kind of thematically tracks.
Yeah, well, I think the way when we talked about that split shadow thing, because it just happened and we were like, well, let's use that. The idea in my mind, you could read it any way you want to. You know, of course, I don't want to overanalyze my own work, but when we were shooting it, Brandon, my thought with it was more reminding us that the character of the reviewer is the 12-year-old grown up.
Okay.
And reminding us that what we're looking at right now are those two characters having a new argument. Because 88 is 60 grown to 88. And that character, the reviewer, is Jason's character grown up into the reviewer.
Chewbacca's lover
But yeah,
says.
you're right, duality in general, but that was my thinking with that. Yeah, sorry.
Chewbacca's lover says you can expand on all of this in the novelization.
So believe it or not, I actually started work on a novelization at one point.
I'm shocked.
I just did not have time to finish it. But was that sarcasm?
I'm a little bit. I was gonna say, you writing more? I mean, that's the
A writer writes.
a writer writes.
My God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I decided it was kind of more trouble than it was worth because I didn't know if anybody would read it.
Right.
Like, it was a fun idea.
So that monitor on the outside of the house that's supposed to be a futuristic doorbell. Where did that monitor come from?
That is a baby monitor.
Ah.
And it wasn't really supposed to be futuristic.
It's
I mean,
very
we're
futuristic.
not in the future.
Okay, it's
like-
supposed to be like modern, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just modern. It's like a Ring doorbell, except it's squared.
Minecraft doorbell.
Except it's not a ring.
Minecraft doorbell.
Okay, so all of
Oh my
88
gosh.
side of this is reshot because we shot all of this and then we realized that both characters were looking in the exact same direction
Oh no.
and
Yeah.
it didn't cut together right. So believe it or not, the stuff you're hearing 88 say right now is like the last night we shot anything.
Yeah.
That's the very like you guys weren't even there for that. That was
Yeah.
the very last stuff we shot.
Did we have to reshoot it like a couple times?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we messed it up the
See,
first
there
time
was
we
another
shot
one of
it.
your effects. The
Yeah.
Oh
TV
yeah,
is
yeah.
a
I
hologram.
did some of those.
Jason
effects.
did a
I
ton
did all
of those,
the
and then I had to
together.
import them all into the timeline.
Yeah, Jason's actually the one that found that effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I sometimes feel like it's a little too subtle. I wonder if I shouldn't have done a sound effect with it. I've thought about that. But like, if you look close to the phone, you see it keep happening.
Yeah.
And then watch for it, because I don't know if you guys have noticed it. Watch for it when we get into the big shootout with the clones, because it shows up in a few places there.
Okay.
Like the pinball machine glitches
Oh,
out.
really?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
We wanted to keep reminding you that some of the stuff you're looking at can't exist. Some of it's stuff that Doomsvince would have knocked out of the timeline.
Right.
So we just got a first-person point of view of Doom's
The
video.
This
DMV
is
cam.
awesome.
DMV
the,
cam, yeah.
the DMV cam, yeah, that's great.
And that was just a stock effect I found on YouTube.
Yeah.
And if you listen real close, I put a subtle sound effect underneath it. So there's kind of like a HUD kind of sound effect of just stuff moving and glitching out. I love arguing with myself. It's great.
So you had a hard time sometimes remembering to do the Zorak voice for 88.
Well,
No,
I
I
think
didn't.
it was hard to keep going.
So it isn't that I forgot to do it. We've talked about this, Brandon, but it's this is one of my favorite shots in the movie.
Mikey always says
Yeah.
he's going the wrong way.
Yeah, every time my kids love the movie, by the way. Every time Mikey sees this, Doomsvinska, he's like, "You're going the wrong way.
That
You
got
gotta
a
go over
big
there."
laugh.
God, there's so
Worf.
much stuff I want to talk
Worf.
about right
Oh,
now.
and Worf glitches out here too.
But
I don't know why, but
no, Brandon. The issue with it is
He
that
does.
I can't go that low with certain postures, and what will happen is I'm doing it and I think I'm hearing it, but it doesn't actually come out. It doesn't come out right. So I don't forget to do it. It's that if you're sitting or standing in certain places where I have to put that in my throat, you can't go down that far.
That makes sense. I will say I kept forgetting to tell you
takes
it
a real
wasn't coming
specific
through
posture.
because I forgot you were supposed to be doing the voice in some places.
Yeah, well, in the coffee shop, there's a specific place where you kept complaining that I wasn't going low enough, and I was doing it, but you couldn't hear it because of the way I was sitting. It's real hard to do when you're sitting,
Gotcha.
especially like hunched over. Jason, talk about the hologram 88 and why that ended up happening.
yeah, that was made up a
On
couple
the-
days before.
On the day. We came up
No, we had a meeting about all the we had a whole conversation about, oh man, this does not work.
well, it's not important. I thought it was the same day that we shot that, but whatever.
No, it was when we were putting together all the shots for all the
Oh, it was the shot
2
list.
day
You're right.
our 2 day weekend.
You're right.
Um,
Okay, that's me.
yeah.
But there's another close up that's Adam.
yeah.
Yeah.
All the rest of it is Adam.
Yeah.
The glove is amazing. The claw was
Yeah.
just one of those that I think you found just randomly on
It's on Amazon,
On Amazon, yeah.
and it kept breaking.
Yeah.
We actually there's two hands. We broke one of them. Thank God we had two sets of them.
Yeah, but it made sense for him to, only have one so he could hold the gun with the other.
Yeah, basically in the and also it broke, so that
Yeah.
worked out.
Jason, Brandon, there's the table shaking.
Yes, there it is.
But anyway,
Basically, in the script, Doomsday just kind of walks really slowly and talks for like a really long time, and it didn't really work. So we had him talk for a really long time.
I don't know why I thought I had enough space in the basement for him to do all of that dialogue.
Yeah.
But the reason we came up
Here
with
it comes.
that hologram is he's got to stand still someplace and deliver all that dialogue. That's why we came up with that. And I think it ends up watching pretty organic.
Mm-hmm.
And Vince has just all of the speechifying, and I was really worried that it drones on and it's kind of boring, but he's so funny.
No, yeah.
Jason will tell you, I had several different edits where I tried to cut out pieces of it. That's one of my favorite bits that he does with his hand there. By the
So-
way, all of his hand stuff here is one take. It's almost all one take.
Yeah.
And so
He's
he's
just pantomiming to his dialogue, and it was so perfect we didn't even have to redo it. I don't. And
yeah,
he didn't
he's
even.
pantomiming to his dialogue. That's what I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
he didn't even remember any of the dialogue. I don't know how he did it so effortlessly
Yeah.
along
Yeah.
with it, not even knowing what
And
lines
he's
were
wearing the
coming
helmet.
up.
He's now wearing the helmet. Up until this point, the helmet has been on a foam core head
Yes.
with a black stretchy thing over it that we had to pin to the bottom of it. And for some of the floaty stuff, we had some string wrapped on it that was attached to a long, 12-foot pole that I would
Yeah,
have
you need to talk about the
Yeah,
pole.
I know,
the
yeah, that whole
pole.
process.
We had, I haven't mentioned this, we had this pole that we would wrap the string around and float this head around. Oh, it was so much
Yeah.
fun. There's a lot of behind the scenes footage of
Right.
that stuff.
And if you
too.
look real close, there's places in close-ups where you can see tape that we had to use. On
Yeah.
Yeah, you had to tape up his arms because, he had to be a robot.
So the most tedious thing in editing was just getting the head to match the helmet movement. So I had to do that as a tracking shot, and I ended up having to do it. I attempted a masking effect that would track it for me, and I could not get it to work right, so I ended up having to do it manually. And so that is about 3 hours of work just by itself.
I think it worked out.
Yeah.
It did. It was just tedious. It just took forever. But that was a pretty ambitious, crazy thing to attempt. That was that ended up looking really funny, and I'm glad we did it. But on the day, guys, I didn't know if that was going to work out.
Yeah.
The idea of putting a performance, a facial performance on top of a body performance by the same actor.
yeah.
We were down there doing
I was like,
stuff
if this
with
works,
Vince.
it's going to be so funny.
We were down there filming with Vince, and I was like, I don't know how he's going to do this, but sure. And I was
Yeah,
like,
he nailed it,
I know
too.
he's got
That's
the vision, and I was like, I'm always supportive of the vision.
Yeah.
I think it can work, but I don't know how he's going to do it.
And here it is. It worked out ultimately.
And he's miming, and it's hilarious, and I'm trying not to laugh.
Yeah. Well, it's just amazing how good, just like a physical actor he is too.
Mm-hmm. And this hand was amazing. And I remember when we broke the one, and we're like, oh god, and we almost broke the second one. They're flimsy. They have these little tiny tabs that broke off the one.
I'm glad we only did it for this one scene. We probably would have had to buy 3 or 4 sets of those.
Yeah, but how cool would it be?
This is another bit where the score gets really great. And by the way, this is like 15 straight minutes of unbroken score. What Wendell does here is just spectacular, and I love how dramatic it is. It really elevates the material. You're gonna get a bit here where I start talking about good superhero movies, and he's got a blend of 3 different superhero movie scores in that speech. Also, watch for this. There's a bit where I have a post zoom, looks like an AVGN kind of effect, where I zoom in on 88's face while he's giving the good superhero movie speech. That actually happened completely by accident, and I liked it so much I left it, where I decided I'm going to be zoomed in further on the face, but I had been doing these tracking shots, and I forgot to turn the tracking thing off, so it actually zooms in on my face as I'm talking, and that was not intended. And then I went to fix it, and I went, wait a minute, this actually kind of works, and I just left it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this just goes on and on. This was another late choice where I started zooming in real close on his face a lot.
Yeah.
Just to break the monotony of it up.
So this is a good... I do like how that shot was pulled off there.
It does make it a lot more dramatic, and it works for comedic effect also.
Oh, have you talked about... I know it showed up at the very beginning of the film.
Yeah.
But isn't it back here too? The Spawn Year flag in the background. Did you talk about that at all?
Oh yeah, that poster.
I mean, no, I didn't mention there is a Spawn Year poster up there. Yeah, we opened on it because this is so much of a sequel to Spawn Year that I liked the idea of that image right away. If that's what you're talking about, Brianna.
Yes.
So yeah, that was a real late choice. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, so this zoom in, completely accidental.
Okay.
Right.
And then it stops. And I'm like, no, that's great. I just left it.
Yeah,
really
it's like,
funny.
that's good.
And then I'm real happy with the action here. So obviously we don't have a lot of actual fighting in the movie, and we had a professional choreographing one scene, but the rest of this, of course, we had to come up with ourselves. And it's minimal enough that I think it all matches pretty well. Like I don't think you're watching this and going, okay, this is the stuff where they didn't know what they were doing.
Right.
So there were a couple of shots
And
where...
Vince is pretty good at this kind of choreography. I gotta mention, he did the whole Coke Redeemer fight in Spawn Year, and so he helped me come up with this stuff too, and he did a really good job with it.
So
Okay.
Doomsvince is supposed to be this really big, larger-than-life robot. So a couple of these shots, I was actually standing on a chair for some of the higher shots looking down.
Actually, no, that's when he's floating.
No, he did a lot of above shots.
Yeah.
Even with the robot suit. But anyway, so talk about the head
Yeah.
flying off shot.
We put that on a punching bag. We put the suit on a punching bag that's right over there, and we put his head. Somehow the head fit on there. I don't even know.
Yeah.
And then we knocked it off, and yeah.
Well, we actually put it on top of the shoulder pads for the old Asbat suit for Batman year. If I didn't have that, I have no idea how we would have done it. And we just draped the Doomsven's coat over that. And what's weird is some of the more complicated shots, Jason and I did without the crew here.
Yeah.
So Jason and I did that without anybody here. And then I'm really happy with this.
Yeah.
That was
track.
a green screen effect that looks a lot better than it has any right to. Like, that looks better than some MCU green screen. And,
So this is
and I will
Adam,
stand
right?
by that.
Yeah.
Yes, this is all Adam.
And it's great.
And this always gets a laugh. People at the premiere thought this was hilarious. I was worried this would go on too long and people wouldn't even get why they were looking at it. People
I
thought
was
this was
laughing
so
when
funny.
you were filming it.
Yes, you were. And then that was a random ad-lib he did for no reason I'll ever understand. And I found it while I was going through Vince footage, and oh my god, I gotta put this somewhere.
Yeah.
Vince footage.
Vince footage.
And I just thought that was so funny. So there's a few pieces like that of unscripted things where Vince was just being silly and wasn't even intentionally in character, but sounded enough like News Vince, I was able to use it.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of times in here too where you can still see where we missed the fact that your tie kept flipping around.
You were real concerned about that in a way I was not. I did not care.
Yeah, we were trying to.
It was part of the continuity thing. I know I got a little nitpicky.
I just
sometimes.
never thought that was a big deal.
This.
Because I mean, like you're moving around a lot. You're whipping that around. Like nobody's gonna notice that the tie's flipped around. Like,
Hook up that system and start flying over the wings. No, I'll finish what I started.
Finish what you started.
Can't stop us. You don't have to do this. Yes, I do. You said it yourself. This is all my doing. They need to make this right. Besides, you know how bad that movie is.
so, I was not careful enough to make it clear that I was supposed to be wounded there. So there's some
Yeah.
token places where I'm holding my side. That luckily we managed to get in there, but I don't think I quite played that right.
I think it's the same thing with 88 with, like, the cough thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was stuff I should have played throughout. So those are like inside channel jokes. I'm always making fun of the BBS thing, and then there are no exits that way. Wolverine is an old joke from Marvel Mania that people still laugh about. That I put on a T-shirt.
When he does the ding 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 ding, it just makes me laugh so hard.
Yeah, that always gets a laugh.
Also, I don't know how many of these references Vince actually gets.
No, no, ding, ding, ding. I had to pull that up from BBS and play it
Really?
for him. Yes, so that he would even know how to deliver it. I wish I had had a Prop 64 that I could ding up, because I didn't hit it hard enough with the stick.
Yeah.
That also, I don't think was in the script. I think we came up with that on the day.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
So here's more clones.
So the clones were also a thing that me and Dad did. Just us.
This entire sequence
The entire
almost
thing.
Yes.
was just me and Jason.
I was not there for that.
Except
was
for the
easy.
shots, except for the white shots where I'm running around and you see Adam in the background. We shot that weekend. So this is another of my favorite bits of the score, where we get into the Axis Chemical stuff in
Yeah.
'89. The dun 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 dun, and I felt like Christmas to me, because that's my favorite stuff in that score. And it's like Wendell got right in my brain and put what I would put in the scene. I couldn't even believe it. It's so good.
So I will mention this, with small exception, and you and Jason did a few things on other days, and we shot some of the stuff at your mom's house on some of the other days, but most of this movie was shot on Tuesday nights.
Yes.
Yeah.
Weeks and weeks of just Tuesday after Tuesday after Tuesday after Tuesday, filming this guerrilla style.
It was just like a movie making club.
Yeah.
I also all of these effects took forever.
Yeah.
Again, just stock effects that I found for laser guns. And by the way, when we did the big Doomsvince gun, we didn't know what was going to come out of it. I came up with lightning real late.
Yeah, but that's also because it used to do something. It used to light up and make all these.
Oh, it still does.
Well, yeah, I mean, it does light up.
Yeah,
but
it does light
it
up.
doesn't do
Oh,
everything else
that's
that it
me.
used to do.
That one shot.
But Brandon, there was always something that was going to come out of it. We just didn't know
Right. But it at some point lost its ability to.
No.
No, it didn't.
It didn't.
Rotate.
I don't know. No, it didn't.
Didn't it?
I don't know what you're talking about. No, it still does right now. I can go get it out. And... Yeah, it didn't. Now the small gun broke.
Maybe that's what it was.
His or thing.
Where the end of it doesn't come back and forth anymore. But yeah, that has nothing to do with why I went with the lightning effect. I'm just saying the point I'm trying to make is when we shot it, we didn't know what was going to come out of that gun.
Oh no, of course not.
Go help the little guy make the right choice.
So yeah, when we shot that, we didn't know that the Mountain Dew cam was going to be slow motion. That was just kind of instinctive when I was in the editing room. That seemed right. And we didn't do a lot of slow motion because I'm not Zack Snyder. But I felt like it was right for that.
So when you originally wrote this, you had a particular date that it was supposed to go back to in 1996.
Really?
But we figured out that date wasn't compatible with the release of the Nintendo
Originally-
64.
Well, it doesn't matter. That's still the date that's in the movie.
Oh, right.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
But
so basically,
you
it's
changed a
just
line.
wrong.
But you changed a line where Kareem says this isn't even supposed to come out yet.
No,
Oh, yeah,
no, it's still
yeah.
it's still in there.
No. We did change it where he says, "Oh, it doesn't come out for 3 months."
No,
Yeah.
that's still in the movie.
Right.
Yeah, that's what
but
I'm
that's
saying.
not what's in the script. He doesn't
You
say that in the
changed
script
that.
because
I don't remember that.
you hadn't realized that wasn't the release date of the N64.
But what was the line originally?
It was like
So there's the gray gloves.
Yeah.
it was something like, "Oh, it just came out" or something.
And so, of course, we shot... Yeah, I didn't remember that we changed that line. Okay. I wish we'd gotten a bigger bat. He's got kind of a tiny baseball bat he's going to beat my ass with, but all right. So obviously, Kareem flew out for a weekend, so we had him for 2 days. And this was the last thing we shot with him. And we were really worried we wouldn't get it all, and then we actually ended up finishing early.
So this is actually some of my favorite line delivery of his. Is
Are You
this
Santa
scene.
Claus was so good. He is
Yeah.
a lot more confident at this point.
Right.
Yeah. And the thing that he says, the follow-up to the Santa Claus thing at the end, because he asks you if you're from a mental institution, and that's one of my favorite payoff.
And I think
jokes.
that we added, I think he came up with that.
Yeah.
Right, Jason? Because like the mental patient, the Santa Claus stuff, that was all in there. But when we get to this point, and he goes, "Are you Santa Claus?" He came up with
Yeah, that wasn't in the script, but
It's not technically an ad lib because he thought of it before we shot it, and then some takes he remembered to say it, and some takes he didn't. This bow staff is also way too small, but there it is.
also we
There's
did
some-
all the Kareem stuff in one day.
There's
Yeah.
some not great. Oh, did we? I thought it was two.
No, it was all
There's
in
some
one.
not great ADR that's going to happen right here. Oh, you're right, because we shot some of it in the middle of the day, so we had to black out. Brandon mentioned this. We had to black out windows because we shot a lot of that at like noon when it was super bright outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like his line delivery here a lot.
So was that the scene where Freddy showed up in the window?
No, Mikey.
Or Mikey showed up in the window
Yes.
in the
Yes.
back?
You'll
that's
see
a
that
great
later in the
blooper.
blooper cut. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some not great ADR in that scene where I'm grunting.
Oh, you're about to see some more too.
I'm just
Yeah.
like,
This entire scene is ADR.
So obviously that's footage from previous scenes that you've seen already. We're getting real Back to the Future 2 here, where we're cutting together with stuff that's happened already.
If you're here,
And then that's ADR that I wish I'd used a
This
different
entire
mic for.
thing was.
So Adam.
Oh, man.
Adam
That
threw
sound effect
that.
is so
Oh,
funny.
yeah.
So this is Adam
That's
in
editing, right?
the '88
Yeah.
throwing that at Cap.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was supposed to go more towards the mailbox, but it ended up hitting Cap right in the leg.
Yeah, I
And
know.
he tripped over it into the street for real.
So I'm ADRing all of this because obviously part of this is Adam, and actually Adam is doubling both sides of this for different shots.
Yes, for different shots.
Yeah.
You
And
even
he
filmed
was-
some of it.
He was not. Say it again.
You even filmed some of it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess I was
Yeah.
holding the camera for some of this. And
And when he's laying in the street, that's you filming from your
Adam was
perspective.
not happy with me for the sheer amount of time I made him lay in the street. And then I don't
Yeah.
even think it matters that he was laying in the street. I love Vince's line delivery here.
You killed yourself.
Just all of that is hilarious. You certainly aged a lot in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't
I
really
actually
like.
think that head should be bigger.
Yeah, and I
I
don't.
think I did that wrong.
Well, and I don't like how the
I don't know why there's so many windows on
The
in his house.
helmet
Why
is angled.
why is Kareem's kids' room's light on at the
I'm
top of the house?
that might be his room. I don't know.
I guess it's possible.
I mean, it would be, perspective-wise. That's where he came down from.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
true.
there you go.
Oh, there we go.
No,
yeah.
actually, that's okay continuity because that means that he turned the light. There's another place where that light's on that it doesn't make any
Yeah,
sense that
no.
it's on, but
In the establishing shot.
No, in the shot. No. It's in the shot where reviewers going up to 88's house, and it's like.
But I
None
think
of
it's
those lights
also
are
on
on.
when the lightning goes off.
oh, it might be. That one is less of a big deal.
Sure.
Oh man, here it comes.
So here's blue blinking lights.
Yeah.
So we're about to see the silliest effect in the movie, and I was not sure if you guys would go along with it or not. I was trying to figure out how to make this transition work.
So all of
And
this
I was
stuff.
like, let's just go full tilt, preposterously geeky with it, and have
Yeah.
and just do a Star Wars light speed effect.
So all of this stuff was not in the first track.
Yeah.
This
So
is
some
all-
of these shots we were trying to shoot around Cap's tattoos that he got at various different times.
Yeah, well, originally we were thinking, oh, his tattoos would be like worn out and stuff, and then
This
we
got a
realized,
laugh.
it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
This got a big laugh.
Yeah, because Brandon, I didn't actually have the Spawn tattoo yet when we shot that scene, so that wasn't a problem.
Yeah,
but
well, yeah.
But Jason, talk about real briefly the original first draft version of this.
Well, originally he kills Doom's Vince as well.
He shoots directly into the bag, and Doomsvince never has a line of dialogue.
Yeah.
And then Kareem's character actually drives him to the coffee shop.
Yeah.
That's the original draft. And thank God we didn't try to do that, because we wouldn't have had Kareem long enough to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's another great shot. This is my fiance Nikki here. She got up and she literally tripped.
Yeah.
Literally tripped over that air conditioning unit, and we were trying to get the shot, and we were like 5 seconds, and we're like, "Are you okay?"
And she was just like, "Yep, I'm good. Keep going. Keep going." Like,
Yeah.
we want to make sure you're okay. Nope, don't worry about me.
Well,
I'm
and
good."
also, but we were like, well, the next, like,
Yeah. She tripped twice actually, and bit the
Yeah.
dust twice.
Nicholas Bodo, sorry, I wasn't looking at comments. Tell me what scene you're talking about when you're asking what movies we were referencing with the score. Because if you're talking about the bit in the climax where I was talking about the all the different superhero movie scores that were in one moment, if that's what you're talking about, it's X2 and it's Batman Begins, I think, and there's even something else in it, I forget. So that looks about as good as we were going to be able to make it look, I think.
Yeah.
okay.
We dropped it on a pillow, right?
No, a big piece of foam.
Big
Oh,
piece of
yeah.
foam.
So-
That's right.
Here's an interesting fact for you. The reason his lights go out here is because we just completely forgot to turn them on in the coffee shop.
And we'd already shot that bit, so we
Yeah.
decided for the sake of continuity, we needed to make it look like they were broken.
Yeah.
I love his frown at the end of that.
When he goes, "My jets."
His head is way too big in this scene, but
Well, his head
But
keeps shifting.
his head looks really good in the coffee shop scene.
Yeah.
You know, when we were filming this movie too, and I told Cap this, but I was really worried that, you know, all the reflections and the specular lights we were getting off of the helmet was gonna, you know, how are we gonna do this Doomsvince thing? It was not occurring to me that Doomsvince's head being in the helmet would be subject to all these highlights and things and reflections. So when it came to the time to actually see it and see the graphic as it is in the movie, I was like, I did not think of that, and it works really, really well.
It works out super well, yeah.
Okay, so this is the scene where literally nothing in the room looks like it's from the 90s, but it's fine. I'm not going to point out specific ones, I'm just gonna say,
I mean,
if you look at the
can point out
background,
a few. You can find them there, but
You can see Grogu.
this is the
Yeah.
actual.
Hey, it's
This is the guy who runs the place and his daughter who actually works there,
yeah.
and she was great.
I don't actually think she works there.
Are you sure? I thought she did.
I'm actually not sure.
yeah,
Does
sure,
Mike's
yeah.
daughter
I mean,
actually
it's a
work
family business. They all work there some, but
Okay.
like not regularly.
Anyway,
I
Chris
think.
found this location.
Yeah, this was a
Yeah.
place I had been to before, and thought like, hey, we need a little coffee shop. You know what might work?
And Chris was not the most descriptive when he was describing this place to us. And so Cap was initially unsure about using this location until he saw it.
Yeah.
Well, it was supposed to be, period 1996, and the way he talked about it, I thought it was also actually a comic shop.
Yeah,
And I was like,
yeah.
well, there's going to be all this modern comic stuff. How do we redress it? How do we shoot around it? And then we got there, and it literally looks like the 90s.
Yeah. I mean, all we had
there's
to
a
do.
few exceptions. We had to move a couple things, and then there's stuff we should have moved that we didn't.
Yeah.
And then this is also where we held the premiere.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
it's-
and Mike is just the most gracious, easy to get along with guy I've ever met. He's so, I guess the modern word would be chill.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, he'd let me do anything. I'd be
Yeah.
like, Mike, I need to move some furniture. Is that cool? And he's like, whatever you want, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And then this was true of the night of the premiere and when we shot in here. We came here twice because we had to shoot behind the place
Yeah.
a different day, and we actually, this is unusual.
Wasn't it
but
raining?
It was raining the first night. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was unusual that the alleyway scene is actually really behind this place. Like,
Yeah.
we're not. We had to go somewhere else to shoot stuff and then match them. In this particular case, we're actually
Yeah.
in and out of the same building.
So you
Subway.
actually see him go in the door, and then you see him inside that same door.
But
Yeah.
we'd get to the end of the shoot and at the end of the premiere, and I'd be like, okay, Mike, we've got all your stuff in disarray. You want me to help you put it back together? Now I'll get it in the morning. I mean, that's just Mike. He's great.
So at the premiere, he walked behind his curtain, much like he does in the movie, and then he reached back out and he clapped like he did in the movie.
That was so
Yeah.
great.
And the people hadn't seen the movie yet. It was the premiere, and so I was
they
like,
thought it was
"That's
really funny when we got
that's
there in
gonna
the
be
movie."
funny later
Right.
on."
Just remember that.
So we cast. I don't know if you guys talked about this, but we cast Izzy sight unseen.
Yeah.
I
And this was one of the scenes where you completely changed it, like a couple weeks before.
Yeah.
originally I was gonna cast Chris's girlfriend Jen.
Who's in the scene too? She's in the couch.
Who's in the scene, and I kind of felt bad because I told her I was going to give her that part.
Yeah.
But then part of the stipulation for us shooting here is Mike wanted he and Izzy to get background roles, which was a totally fair request and an easy thing to do. We needed to populate it anyway. And then he mentioned that she was acting in plays in high school, and I was like, well, she's going to know how to do everything behind the counter.
Yeah.
Because it's her father's place, and I was like, that edged her, that edged Jen out for me. I felt bad about it, but I was
Yeah.
like, but Jen's gonna have to like make up what to do behind there, and this girl is just gonna naturally do that stuff. And she's also got acting experience, and she ended up being perfect. I mean, she's so good in it.
So I really like this scene because it goes back to a Spawn Year
So
scene.
sorry, Jen. I'll cast you next time.
Yeah. Jen at one point was like, okay, you tell Captain Logan I'm really sad, I'm really mad. I'll never forgive
I can
him.
tell how broken up she was.
Yeah.
This is the scene where Doomsvins looks the best, I think.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
the, and then also
Brainiac.
The lighting
Yeah.
there helps.
yeah, definitely. And also, I really like that scene because it kind of goes back to a scene at towards the end of Spawn Year with the epilogue,
Yes.
where
There's Crass again.
Yep, I'm getting really into
where Doomsvins and Captain Logan are on like opposite ends of the freaking room.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same scene, but it's great.
So we did see Nikki outside as the bum in the back
Yeah,
alley.
and then she's
But
also,
she's also
And then
sitting
she's
right
back
here on the couch with Jen. They're
Yeah.
chatting about comic stuff.
Is
Yeah.
she the only person that plays multiple roles, obviously, besides myself?
and
What?
And Brandon.
Well, yeah, except Diamond probably is Brandon.
Right. But also reviewer is you.
Yeah. So that means she's probably the only person that's actually playing two completely different people.
Yeah.
Originally,
Right.
I was gonna have
Yeah.
a cameo as myself.
Yeah, and we also briefly talked about having Adam play a grown-up version of you in the last scene.
Yeah.
We talked about that.
Oh, I can see that.
I do kind of regret not getting a couple of people back later in the movie, because we kind of have this motif for the most part where somebody will show up early and then later they'll come back in some way, and there's a couple people that we weren't able to do that with, like Austin. It kind of sucks that Austin never comes back.
Austin was originally
Yeah.
gonna be the clone.
Austin was supposed to be the
Yeah.
clones,
Yeah, but he couldn't make it into town.
and then he was supposed to come from Vermeer,
Into
and
the
that-
country.
That didn't
The
work out
country,
either.
yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, I just meant he couldn't travel.
Yeah.
And then
So it's obvious why I'm wearing a Spawn shirt here. We're referencing that everywhere, but also 88 his become I guess as comfortable as that character is going to with what's happened with Spawn here, where he's like, now I understand that it's necessary for that to happen. And so he's giving me, or he's giving the 12-year-old version a script that he's supposed to read after he makes Spawnier. So he's wearing that shirt to suggest that like he's come to terms with that's just got to happen now.
I wasn't there for everything, but I'm pretty sure it's more or less what really
And this was just us too. This is just you and
No,
me.
Yeah.
nobody else is there that
Yeah.
day. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We shot this about a month after we shot the bedroom stuff, and this is, of course, the outside of my mom's house again. And we shot on the same day. We actually shot this part linearly, I guess. The scene you're about to see right after this, we shot the same day.
Because we forgot to shoot it when we were supposed to shoot it, and so we had to redress part of the set.
So this room is no longer fully dressed, which is why you only have the one shot of Jayson sitting on the bed in front of the mural on the wall, and it cuts together great. Like you'd never guess that that's a Back to the Future thing.
I was gonna mention the fact
It
that
is.
the two most bittersweet moments I think of the whole
I like the shot a
process
lot.
and of the whole movie was when we wrapped filming for this. You know, that was a little bittersweet for
Yeah.
me anyway.
And
And
having to
when
tear
we
down
had
the
to
set.
strike the set for this.
Oh my
for
gosh,
this
you
room.
can see
I
the
hated
freaking truck in the other.
in the other
yard.
driveway.
Yeah.
Oh man, no, we haven't noticed that.
Like, it's
before.
behind bushes, but you can see it.
In the other that's hilarious.
Jeff,
Like
why
the
did you
Ernie.
put your truck in the neighbor's driveway?
You could have just walked over there.
It's just a popular truck in Lawrence
So
at
the
the
day
time,
we
too.
shot
You-
this, we had to remember to bring all these props back. That bit in the score there is supposed to be Making Spawnier by Tim Lyons.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Speaking of some of the Lawrence stuff, there was a day you guys got to Lawrence and I hadn't left town yet, and you called me up and you're like, "Hey, I forgot something. Can you please
Oh, I
bring
forgot
it?"
about
Oh,
And
yeah.
I don't remember what it was.
This
but
got a
I'm
big
just
reaction
remembering.
It did, yeah.
during the premiere,
Yes, it did.
which was surprising. I think it was because I did a speech before the movie where I talked about how much McFarlane's writing sucks and it broke me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so you had all these people that probably didn't know anything about Spawn, but they remembered me saying that.
Well, especially like the kid pulls out like a comic that has like blood splatter all over it too.
And that is somewhat autobiographical, by the way.
Yeah.
So the 50 years later thing is, of course, Endgame.
Because you made fun of that a ton
Oh, I thought
when
it was
that
so
came
funny.
out.
Five. They just make such a huge deal out of
Yeah.
that. And
Five.
I've always wanted to put that in a project somewhere. So I finally got that. I added this text you're about to see real late in the game because it occurred to me that Dan should look older but doesn't. Austin, we did not explain in any way,
Man just ages well.
but it does help. So the first draft, Austin actually doesn't have any dialogue except "this sucks" or something. Like the original version, he just keeps yelling.
No, the original version, he's supposed to be like super freaking old, and he just goes, "What?" Just like everything you say, he just doesn't.
Yeah, I don't remember what he says, but the point that's what I was going to say. The idea was supposed to be that he's really elderly, and then I went, wait a minute, he's 14 years younger than I am. So he's not going to look that much older. Like, he's going to be 40-something.
Yeah.
What am I doing? So, I haven't mentioned this yet, but I was really worried about the length of this movie all the way up until we posted it. It is much, much longer than I thought it was going to be based on the page count.
Yeah, because the script's only like 100 and some pages, too.
It was 108. It ended up stretching to 111.
Yeah.
There was no reason it should end up being over 2.5 hours long. And I tried a shorter cut. I cut a bunch of stuff out of it. It just was real piecemeal and didn't go together right. I was worried about stuff like this review being 15 minutes long. And I've not heard one complaint from our audience about the length of it.
Yeah.
There have been a couple people that feel like the reviewer stuff is like drags a bit, but nobody's complained about runtime. Nobody's been like, "Oh my god, how did you make an almost 3-hour movie?"
And I'd been a strong proponent of not cutting it down. I kept telling you, if you have to, I get it, but like.
I was
think
more
it
worried about
works.
the premiere than anything. Like, I just
Yeah.
didn't want to bore people coming out, and I finally just bit the bullet and did it, and it ended up working
I
out.
think it worked great,
yeah, and
man.
the premiere was so, like, there was so much good feedback, too.
I agonized and agonized about the
Yeah.
length. But I'm glad you guys talked me out of it. And
And it's about as long as a live stream, so.
Yeah.
well, that's the thing, is that for our audience, it makes more sense.
Gardner.
Because we do
Gardner.
a lot of long streams, and because everybody's used to me being long-winded, so it makes sense that the Superhero Rewind movie would be obnoxiously thorough and long.
Also, too, like, most superhero movies now are, like, 2.5 hours. So
Well, that's what Mike said. 'Cause
Yeah.
I was worried about boring Mike.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
was like, he goes, before we showed it, I was like, how long is it? And I was a little sheepish, and I was like 2.5 hours. And he goes, okay, well, every movie is like 2.5 hours long now.
yeah, yeah.
So, Cap,
And then he watched it, and I was still apologetic about it. And he was like, dude, it was great. It's
Yeah.
2.5 hours. That's what superhero movies are.
seeing you briefly mention
Yeah, sorry.
the dark and gritty tick thing there, what was your favorite fake movie insert into this?
So I got to credit once again my buddy Ty, who's done a lot of art for me, and he did the poster for the movie. You'll also see, I don't think we've got to it yet, a original cover that he does for a Spider-Man comic that Dan's supposed to have written. And he did 4 of these for me, and they're all hilarious. But the dark and gritty tick one is my favorite.
Yeah.
He did that based on Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns art, and it just looks awesome. And then I got him to draw Carmelita on the back instead of Arthur. So we've got a female sidekick because Robin is a girl in that comic. So. That's why I went with that. But he and I had so much fun coordinating, collaborating, and putting those together. I wrote the blurbs on the backs of all of them, and there's a feature we'll put out later with all of that you guys can listen to. But yeah, as far as the ones that Ty didn't draw, I mean, Gardner is still the one that makes me laugh.
Gardner is
Yeah,
the best
I think Gardner.
The most.
Yeah, between like at least the 3 of us, that I
Um,
think that's kind of what we've always kind of spoken the most of, the highliest of. Highliest, that's a real word.
I think the one that was the most fun to make, just because it was goofy photoshopping, though, was Mars Attacks the DC Universe.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I filed it away. It was always in the back of my mind, and I had to fight a constant.
And we didn't make a cover for this, but Water, I still think is really funny.
Okay, that was the one joke that made me laugh out loud while I was reading the script. Like, I didn't laugh at anything else, but
M. Night
okay,
Shyamalan's
it was that and this is day one of
Water.
Shut the Hell Up Here. That was the other
yeah.
one.
So that
Yeah.
one, that I meant to say this when it happened earlier. When you say that, that's one of my favorite lines in the movie. Another thing that we didn't mention that I really wish had made it into the movie was that somewhere along the line we came up with this joke about Bimmy bombs.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna mention it,
Give me
and then
some-
it was a little too late.
Well, I think it still deserves mentioning, but I thought that would have been hilarious. We had this idea that when Diamond is dying, that there was supposed to be a delivery driver who was bringing something like Jimmy John's, but it was called Bimmy Bombs.
Yeah,
and
I
he
came
was
up with
supposed to
Bimmy
get
Bombs.
out of the original idea was he was going to get out of his car and immediately be killed by one of the ninjas.
Yeah, you just walk up and be like, excuse me, I've got some baby moms here.
And then
Why does he sound like Kermit the
And then-
Frog?
Kermit the Frog here.
and
I'm
then,
glad we didn't do that.
and then when I wake up, when Kat comes to me, I was gonna ask. I was gonna be more concerned about my sandwich arriving.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like the punchline at the end of it was, "Did my sandwich make it?" It's like, he didn't make it.
And that's still one of my favorite effects right there.
I just think it would have looked really tacked on. Like
Yeah.
I'm glad we didn't do it. It's too kind of SNL sketch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see.
It would have been fun to shoot and to put in special features, but I don't think it would have made the movie. Nicholas Bodo. Well, and I don't know if you mentioned this, Brandon, but part of the reason we came up with that was to give Connor something to do. And
Oh,
then,
that's right.
Oh, yeah,
and then
yeah.
Connor,
Being
and then
ninja.
Connor ended up filling in for one of the ninjas because that was supposed to be another guy. So this is also Ty's artwork.
Yeah.
And that's why at the top it says Disney Comics Group instead of Marvel Comics Group. They just got at this point they've just gotten rid of Marvel entirely. Now they're
Yeah.
just Disney Comics
They're
Group. It's,
consumed.
it's so good. But anyway, we had another guy that works at the dojo that was that actually came up with some of his own choreography that Connor then had to learn. So like the role was his, and he originally came up with the Schwarzenegger yell, and then Connor had to do the Schwarzenegger yell. But he had a death in the family or something, and he had to go out of town. Nicholas Bodo had a couple comments I wanted to read. He said the black guy clapping behind the curtain kills me.
Yeah.
He says the Spawnier reference is really touching.
Yeah.
He says you're reviewing your own movie as the most thoughtful moment of the film because it's so honest. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
It's very honest.
So when I saw the final cut of this movie, some of this I saw for the first time at the premiere.
Yeah.
And that's when I saw the full thing. I'd seen it many times in various stages. There's where it broke there.
Yeah.
But when I saw you bring in footage from some of the old Spawnier stuff, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
It really got me.
Yeah, I mean,
This shot, I think that was hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
That you put together.
Oh,
Doom's
thanks, man.
back there.
Well, and that is, and then here I did do the Ken Burn.
Here's one
the
of
Ken
your
Burn
Yeah.
effects,
posters.
so that
I
people can
love-
actually see some of those up close.
here's like when like the wind blew some of those away too. They literally blew them into the street. So
Yeah,
somebody,
some of them blew in the backyard of the neighbor's house.
yeah,
too.
somebody's gonna go and get like their morning paper, get their mail, and be like, "Who's Mark Millar?
Yeah.
What?
What does this mean?
What does this mean?"
Dan's Den for a long movie. It only drags in places. Well, I feel like we succeeded then.
Yeah.
That's lucky. CG anime fan, are Cap and Austin going to eventually rate the film on a future superhero rewind commentary? I mean, probably not. Like the movie has a
Austin's
review
gonna give it a
baked into
nemesis.
it,
Yeah.
and that makes me feel like I maybe don't ever have to actually do that.
Austin will review it on his own.
So this is probably the closest thing you'll get. Nicholas
Yeah.
Bodo, I wonder what that guy's story was. What guy?
That guy.
Oh, okay. Okay. What that means. Oh, CG Anime Fan also did a nice review for us on his channel.
Oh, nice.
Thanks,
Cool.
thanks for that, man. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
He also says Cap plays different versions of himself well, but I think the old Cap is his best performance. Which is so funny because I was worried it was going to be too cartoony.
I
I
know,
had so
you
much
were
fun
really
doing,
worried
the,
about
doing
that.
the Goofy's wreck thing and hunching over and doing like the praying mantis
But
arms.
that's what made it fun too. I mean, we all loved it when you were like, "It's me, 88." That's actual dialogue from the movie, by the way. that's all his dialogue.
Don't hire Chris for your impressionist.
Hi, it's me, Mr. 88.
I don't sound like that at all.
I don't.
Objectively self-indulgent.
It is objectively self-indulgent. I agree with myself.
So what were some of the other? You looked at a couple different cars for your
Oh
characters.
yeah, there was a really bizarre one that we
Well,
almost
Prowler,
did.
wasn't it?
We talked about doing a U-Haul at one point.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was a superhero car, a U-Haul full of cars.
I'm so glad we didn't do that.
So there's some more ambitious stuff. I meant to mention this earlier that originally we had planned on doing, and we had to scale back. And there's various practical reasons and story reasons we didn't go this way. But first of all, I was supposed to ride a motorcycle. I would have had to learn to ride a motorcycle and get my hands on one.
Yeah.
And so it ended up being more practical to just get a cool car. But that's why I insisted on getting the motorcycle behind Brandon at the farm, because he had one, and that let us at least have a motorcycle in the movie somewhere, because I originally wanted that.
And then when we went back there to film again, they had moved the motorcycle, and we had to move it back.
Mm-hmm. And then, by the way, this is another intentional Spawn Year nod, where I wanted to show the script somewhere, because in Spawn Year there's a lot of me writing in the notebook, and you see what I wrote, and I thought it would be really amusing if you saw the script at the moment where I'm talking about how ambiguous it is whether this actually works in the movie or not. So I'll leave the date of this writing ambiguous, but you're actually seeing that. I'm trying to break your brain the best way possible with all the meta commentary. But anyway, another thing that I was originally planning to do, and Brandon, I don't even know if you know this, but originally I was gonna, the reviewer, even before he was the reviewer, the superhero character was supposed to carry firearms, and I was gonna shoot real guns in the movie.
Oh, I didn't know
and
that.
that didn't end up happening. Yeah.
Oh.
Once it became the reviewer, I just didn't think he'd be packing, so I didn't do that.
Oh.
But originally, I was gonna actually fire guns in the movie.
Who came up with the reviewer idea?
Pierce came up with that,
Yeah.
and he's credited for it in the movie. So Pierce and I had in exchange, he had, and I don't think he's seen the movie yet, but he was supposed to be at the premiere and he couldn't make it. But he built the mask. And then he just sort of jumped the gun and started referring to the superhero character as the reviewer. And I was like, well, I've got a whole other plan for that. That's not what it's going to be. And then as I'm writing the movie, that idea is what fixed that section.
Yeah. Well, you also get that great line too. For the love of God, stop reviewing us.
Giving him that motif, well, and that kind of thematically ended up pulling the whole movie together. That whole question of that existential thing: does he want to be a reviewer or the reviewer?
Yeah.
And like he's not. He's tragically not allowed to do his dream job because Doomsvince ruined that for him, and his future self screwed that up. And so he's going to be a vigilante trying to bring that back through the guise of a reviewer, because that's what he really wants to do. And so he's a superhero that's not allowed to review.
Right.
And so that's the revolution he's trying to bring forth.
So you always do food things in your rewinds.
That's why that's there.
So we just saw a couple of the things from the front end of the movie. This obviously was very Back to the Future heavy, but Cap had originally asked me if I could bring one of my Back to the Future shirts for my costume at the beginning of the movie, and that's why I chose that particular one. I thought it was cool with the 3 fractured time zone.
How many Back to the Future shirts do you have?
Like 12.
He's got 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
12. 4 or 5, 12.
So again, I rewrote this 2 weeks before we shot it. I had this epiphany one day, again, kind of like the comic shop thing, where I was like, wait a minute, why are we not ending this on a superhero note?
Yeah.
And again, really thematically ties the whole thing together, where the future version of me is now a reviewer and the reviewer simultaneously. Like the...
It's the same hat I'm wearing in the beginning.
Like the version...
But now it's more diamond.
Like the early reviewer wants to be and has that existential crisis about. And this one has managed to marry those two things. Originally, it was just kind of going to end on the Spawn Year 2 line. And that ends up just sort of... That would have ended up just sort of being kind of a punchline, kind of a gag. Which is funny because Spawn Year had the same thing. Spawn Year was originally not going to be much of a narrative and was just going to end on sort of a Wizard of Oz kind of thing, where it's like he wakes up from his coma and that's about it. and it would have sort of ended on a punchline. And so both of these projects ended up, even though this was always a narrative, ended up being a little bit more character-driven narratives by the end.
So really quickly, I want to mention that little bit with me there at the end on the phone with you. We had originally talked about potentially filming that on a location downtown,
Yeah, and then we ended up.
but it ended up being me sitting on a stool in the basement in front of a green screen, and I think it looks great.
It looks pretty good. That, we talked about that as placeholder footage for the longest time, and then when I finally cut it into the movie as a
and it just
placeholder,
looked fine. yeah.
we all looked at it and we were like, "Yeah, I don't think we have to go back and shoot this." So Sarah's finally in the movie. She tragically leaves me at the beginning. I have showed this to people that are and we had this up at the premiere, that are like gutted by that plot point at the beginning.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
We're like, she leaves me, my kids won't talk to me.
Yeah.
And I felt like, and Sarah doesn't love being on camera. She does a giant favor for me every time she does something like this. And we had a lot of fun shooting this, but she has to kind of psych herself up. Like, she doesn't like acting. She doesn't like being on camera. And I don't think the movie works without her.
I don't
Like,
either.
I think you have to have that.
But this is also another nod to Spawn Year with her shirt.
The Coke shirt.
Because she was the Coke Angel
Yeah.
that birthed the Coke
And
The Coke
all
Redeemer.
of the Spawn Year stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many Spawn comics do you think?
there are a few viewers that, even before we shot this, called the Spawn Year 2 gag.
Yeah.
Really?
That were like, wouldn't it be funny if the movie ended with
You know you could always.
with more Spawn Year? And I was like, crap, they called it. Like, I'd already written it, and I was like,
Yeah.
that is exactly what's going to happen. All right.
I mean, look, sometimes it's obvious because it's the right choice, too. You know?
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah.
We had a cut of this for the longest time where the middle section did not have the sepia tone color correction. It was just red. And one of the reasons I really like... And by the way, part of the reason we changed that was because the music got real noir-esque with Wendell.
Yeah.
And that is not the direction I thought he was going to go with that. So I
Yeah.
was like, oh, we've got to go with a more kind of pseudo-black and white thing. So what's cool about it now is you don't actually see the full color scheme of the suit until you get to the very end now. And the 60-year-old version has decided to be the reviewer, which I guess he's inspired by the script that a future version of him
Yeah.
made, and luckily knows exactly what it's supposed to look like.
So I like
But
this.
it works because you're looking at the movie that he made, so this is his interpretation the whole way through.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
And I like this set dressing, though, because you just finished a review of the Superhero Rewind, and you've been thoughtful enough to put up your Superhero Rewind poster behind you.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, we did that on the day of like the ninja fight, and we just wanted to put it somewhere.
I mean, it's kind of like the Schumacher, like, Batman ending, too, where you've got, like, Batman and Robin and that's like...
Yeah, for the longest time I didn't know where that would go, because again, we weren't going to have the superhero ending. And then as
Yeah.
soon as I came up with this, I was like, oh, that's obviously where that shot goes.
There were a few things that we did just for, like, promotional stuff, too. Like, towards the beginning where you're holding
Yeah.
Doomsvents, you've got the, you know, the Hamlet pose there.
Well, and we had my father-in-law, who's a professional photographer, come and shoot a bunch of still photography for us.
Yeah.
Which shows up at the end of the movie some. And then the thumbnail that I did for this stream is a reviewer shot that I hadn't used yet. I didn't do any promotional stuff with reviewer because we wanted to keep the superhero look a secret.
Yeah.
So now I can use
The
it.
role I was born to play.
Speaking
I've been
of
researching this my whole life.
speaking of stuff earlier, as I did that you wrote before it happened, you had Diamond dying from the very beginning,
Yes.
and then Diamond, the comic
The company.
distributor, died basically, and that was kind of very apropos.
Yeah, I mean, there were a few things, too, that this movie predicted. Hey, Jen, what's up? Oh. And Hobo Girl.
Bob the Hun, you should write a story about the reviewer in this universe, like on shot or short film. I thought about that. We are talking about doing a one-shot comic that chronicles how Doomsvince wound up as a head in a jar. This is also a real late edition. We didn't actually have this footage in the premiere, but Jeff took me aside at the end of the premiere and is like, "Hey, is there any way you can get some of the footage of me at that truck as an after credits?" Because we had talked about that on the day, and I couldn't figure out a good way to do it. And so then I was like, fine, I'll look at it. And I forgot that we had a bit where he starts to open the door, and I was like, that's kind of funny.
But you did put it in for the internet.
It was there by that
premiere.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yep, it sure was.
Excuse me. Backyard Super Kid.
So yeah, this is, like I said, that still photography that Sarah's dad did for us. We just shot that down here in the basement on green screen. And there's Adam doubling for me, and then Jason, like we said, doubled for the reviewer. And you can tell because that reviewer is really skinny.
I think it looks good.
There's Ty's credit. Thanks again to him for all of the art he did. Tons of it. Comic Coffee House.
Yeah. Which again was just like a random place I found. I think it was like a free comic day that I saw like a Google search or something, or like a map.
Well, and the most amazing thing with that, and I've told this story before, is just how much of a motif the onomatopoeia comic words ended up being throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Because we always knew we were going to shoot in my old bedroom with that. Thanks again to all the Super Chat supporters.
Yeah.
We knew we were going to get that,
Vince.
but we didn't know that the reviewer suit was going to have words all over it. We didn't know that we were going to go to that coffee shop and it was going to have words like that. It ended up being a visual thing that tied the whole movie together. Tim Lyons, my old friend that did the Making Spawnier song and used to be on the channel a lot, passed away in 2017. And I really wanted him to have a dedication here.
Yeah.
So this theme is mine. I wrote this.
And did the music for that.
I did the music.
Uncredited.
Well, maybe I didn't write it because I had written something different, and then I didn't actually tell you what the melody was, and then
So I did the voice different, the voices differently.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
I mean, I think it came out fine, but I don't know what it was supposed to sound like.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
So this, as you can probably tell, is entirely improvised. In the script, I literally just wrote cooking with the Doomsvinces for the after credit scene. I don't even know if I wrote fajitas. Like I don't remember now.
Question. I actually don't remember.
But they just really ran with this together, and this was after a whole day of shooting. So Vince is really tired, and he's worried that he's not at all clever. And what he did was just as funny as, or funnier than any of the Cooking with Doomsvinces we had done before.
Well, we're all just in like the living room, just
We're
dying.
trying not
we're
to
trying
laugh.
so
What I was
hard.
gonna say was, in the opening shots, when you see Cap in the living room, you can see into the kitchen. So we're sitting in front of this big picture window pass through, on the other side, just outside of the kitchen in the living room, looking in while this is being filmed, while they're standing there doing this.
Yeah.
And we're trying so hard not to just crack up.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's great.
We are in like physical pain like most during this.
And I will also post this later as I'm putting up special features, but we have a 14-15 minute supercut version of this.
Yeah,
So
it
I
was
got
just
it.
hilarious.
I got it down to 5.5 minutes, and I did a longer cut before that I then had to dwindle down. And so it's got more jokes, and I'll post that.
By the way, for the record, they actually made fajitas, and they were pretty good, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
we ate those
we
We
the
got
next
to
day.
eat them.
Got to eat them, yeah.
We had
then-
those for lunch.
And then later on, I said, "Oh, wouldn't it have been funny if the food that Sarah hands Cap at the end of the movie
It's
was
a
actually
fajita."
fajitas?"
Oh.
Yeah, I guess I wish we'd done that. Although that might have confused people.
Maybe.
Because I mean, we say this is in the spawning your device, but that was so. I didn't mention the creative writing workshop, but my guys in that workshop reviewed the first draft for me, and gave me some really helpful ideas of ways to improve it. And part of the reason that this is now in the Spawnier device, or that we say that it is because in the first draft script it was really confusing as to what this was. Because my original idea was that Doomsvince in the alternate future is actually off on his own and has cloned my wife to be his wife. And having Sarah right before this, where you have another Sarah, was really confusing. And so this had to be in his head. So that's why we decided in the next draft that Doomsvince was actually put in the Spawnier device to incapacitate him so that he can't do anything to Captain Logan anymore.
I think that works really well.
It makes a lot more sense.
Just a moment ago, though, there's a moment where you see a piece of onion fly at Doomsvince, and he looks around like, where did that come from? When Vince chopped the onion initially, it exploded, and parts of it came flying out into the living room, and we almost ruined the whole thing by laughing. And then Cat picked up a piece and threw it back at him.
Nicholas Bodo, this is also the right amount of screen time for Sarah, given her dislike of acting. Yes, I agree. She would also agree with you.
But she's good in this, too. I mean, that's the thing.
She's always been great when I can get her to come on camera and act.
Yeah.
It's just not her thing.
Yeah.
Bob the Hun, I'd like to see you do more stuff with this universe and other mediums where you're not limited by budget or effects. You should definitely do something. Dan Schneider agrees with that. Chewbacca's
more
Lover,
onion.
what's the name of your fictionalized Geekvolution universe? It doesn't really have one.
I guess it'd be like the
GCU.
the GCU.
I mean, I've always just kind of considered it the Spawnier universe. They're poisoning their neighbors with fajitas. But yeah, Sarah's the only other person that can play Doomsvince besides Vince. It's kind of amazing how well she pulls that off.
Because Chris can't.
Well, no, I've been.
Chris sure
I have been disallowed.
No offense, Chris.
And Brandon is just British. What he does is
Yeah.
Oi, it's me, Doomsvince.
wait, that's okay.
Not Cockney.
But the important thing is that when Brandon does it, I can get through a damn scene.
What's
true.
wrong with having a
That's true.
fajita now? That's South.
This going back through the movie with you guys, and just talking about the sheer amount of shoots and ideas and things we had to do. It feels a lot more involved than it did even when we were shooting it. To
Yeah.
me. Like,
You think?
well, just because.
Oh, and that please like and subscribe at the end was just random footage that we were down here. Cap went upstairs, and I kept the camera rolling on Doomsvince a couple of different times, and there were different things. But I think that one you found when you were scrolling through, just random footage of Doomsvince.
There's a lot of things I was just lucky I found.
Yeah.
But anyway, no. To the point I was just making, Brandon. It's just because while you're shooting it, you're laser focused on the specific scenes you're doing.
That's true.
And so it sort of like Spawnier feels like you're doing all these individual things and then you put them all together and of course you have a movie, which is an obvious thing to say. But it's really easy to see like the trees for the forest. Like while you're doing it. I was always worried, and I had this a little bit with Spawnier too, but with this I was always worried that I was lose track of the story we were telling.
Yeah.
And kind of forget character motivation and what the thing's about and all of that, because you're spending 2 years telling one story.
Sure.
It's really easy to get kind of disconnected from what you're making.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you could wind up in a different place, and you to some degree you wound up in a slightly different place than you originally started out.
Yeah, certainly.
So it
but you can lose track
it's
of
a
it,
coherent
But you can lose
story.
track of it to the point where you're just not even telling a story anymore.
Right, but you did make
and
a
that's kind of the
coherent
worry.
story. Certainly. And although I knew your vision would pan out, but I was so confused some of those shoot nights. Just like I could not remember where in the timeline we were, and I'd say something, and like I was trying to keep track of continuity, so that's great, right? So occasionally I was like, but didn't we need to do this? And Cap's like, no, we already got that. Like, oh, what about this? Like, yeah, we got that too.
Sparks Lover, a novel set in this universe would be pretty badass. That's not a bad idea. You make Doomsvince, that Doomsvince comic book, we would I'll eat that up. Well, I've got an artist. He's raring to go. I've just got to write the thing, and I've also got a script I've got to write for Chris. So like I've got a lot of fictionalized stuff I got to work on.
There's a lot of creative projects.
So I probably have to prioritize that, and then after I get that done.
Just out of curiosity, do you have a storyline in mind for Doomsvin's comic?
Well, I mentioned it earlier.
Oh, I missed that part.
That we would chronicle how he lost his body. And,
I did. Yeah. You know, you're right. I did hear that.
I mentioned that. And part of the reason I wanted to tell that story is because I don't fully understand it.
It turned out
I need to go back and figure that out. We just sort of put a pin in that. If you really start thinking about it, it's like, wait, what actually happened?
Right?
Like,
does it hold up to critical thinking?
How did Captain Logan end up going to get the head? Because he kills Dan. And he steals Dan's technology to try to make himself immortal. What order do those events happen in?
How do you not know that Dan Torrey's dead?
Yeah, like how does Captain Logan save Doomsvince's head but not know that Doomsvince killed Dan? Like, where was Doomsvince when, like, did he take the technology to his place and then do it? And then why does Captain Logan at no point ask, okay, where'd you get this technology? Because all of this stuff has always come from mad scientist Dan.
That's true.
So, anyway, I have to figure all of that out for my own peace of mind and make it work. Because I don't understand it right now. I probably just broke the whole movie. And what's funny is, I think I had it all worked out while I was writing it. But I didn't write it down anymore. So I don't actually know what it is right now.
Perchance. There was at least one thing where I found an error that was going to wreck the idea, but you removed one line and it fixed it.
It fixed the entire thing. I don't remember. It was something with AI, Dan, but yeah, it worked. I think
it was just the fact that, and it was minor enough. I don't think anybody would have really noticed it, but it was just that AI Dan knew the video game you had to play. He knew about Superman 64. And it doesn't actually make sense that he would know that. That was
the truth.
That was ultimately the issue. Mm-hmm. But yeah, well, what else, real quick, do you guys want to mention before we bid everybody farewell? Because, like I said, we do have a bunch of other special features where we'll deep dive into some other areas.
Jason.
Oh. Well, thanks for watching the movie, though.
Thanks for watching, but we really appreciate it.
We do.
We do.
It's still kind of surreal that it's over.
Yeah.
A little bit.
No, yeah. I mean, we spent so long on it, and it was so... I know we've said before how involved it was, and how I don't think at the time we realized just how complicated of a beast it was. When we're on the inside, we're trying to figure it out from the inside. And then I think when we were able to take a step back and talk it out, it's like, oh, wow, we did all that? It
certainly was. Like when we got started on it, and it was turning into the amount of work that it was, and I knew it was going to be work. I didn't know what the extent of that was going to be, and I was like, wow, we've got like so much to do, and we get further and further in the movie. I'm like, we got so much less to do than we did before, and I'd mentioned to Cap sometimes, like it's really come. I think it's really coming together, and Cap was a little bit unsure sometimes. But I just enjoyed working on this, and I didn't have it. So I had a lot of availability because I wasn't working for 2 years. I didn't have a job. I kept looking, and then I ended up finding one after the movie was finished, wrapped, and we premiered it. But I think I got really lucky not having to do anything. Oh my goodness! Else while we filmed this and took care of it and made it.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
It's weird how, in some ways, like the more we shot, the more it felt like it was never going to be done.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
a little bit.
I'm like, well, God, we've made all this headway, but here's all this other crap we've still got to do. Like we got all of that basement stuff done in January, and I felt like it should feel more like we were done with it. And then there's all these pickups that kept coming up, and it seemed like it was never going to be done. But we actually managed to wrap almost exactly a year after we started.
Yeah.
Which was pretty cool. We were pretty much done by April, and then of course I had to edit the whole thing, and I had edited some as we went, but the majority of that I had to do between then and August when we premiered it.
Yeah.
So did it take as long to work on this as it did to work on Spawnier?
Overall, so like as far as like from concept to the or even starting scripting to the end of it technically, but obviously Spawnier more consistently I'm working on it, right? Like
There was a lot more daily
there
stuff
were-
with Spawn. Yeah.
Well, what I was gonna say is there was a period of time where I took a break on that, but with this, we only filmed a year, and with Spawn Year, I started filming immediately after I started writing that, and so that was a 2-year project, but there was filming all the way through it.
Right.
With this, if you count it as a 2-year project, the first year was writing sporadically, and then just getting stuff together. So like we started buying things for it, you know, a few 3 or 4 months before we started shooting.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. So that first year was real spread out. And like I was working out and slimming down and then bulking up and stuff like way before we started shooting.
Yeah. And like with Spawn Year 2, I mean this came out just like one big burst. Spawn Year you sort of trickled out, and was that when YouTube still had the 10-minute limit?
No,
Oh,
we were well past it.
Okay, so yeah.
No, Spawn Year starts in 13.
Oh, okay, so yeah.
I was already 5 years into the channel.
Oh wow.
By that point, yeah, that limit goes away, like I don't know, by 11 or 12. I mean, it's pretty early.
Oh, I thought it was
So-
2010. I didn't
maybe
think...
even by 10.
Maybe
but
by
it's
10, yeah.
it's pretty early that happens. But you had to have a certain amount of watch time before you could upload unlimited, and that's not
Really?
true anymore. Now anybody
Oh,
can upload as much as they want to. But
That's-
anyway,
Because I knew like back in the day you had to go like Blip or whatever if you wanted something.
for live stream.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
no, I'm sorry. You're right. Blip. Sorry, there was another thing I used for live stream.
Yeah.
Blip you had to use if you wanted to post anything that included anything copyrighted.
Yeah.
I had to move Rewind and Crypto Freaks over there for a while.
Oh, wow.
Which is part of why I ended up stopping using footage and stills for those shows altogether, because when Blip went away, I didn't have an option
Yeah.
for that stuff. Dan's Den, this is so much fun, insightful commentary from you guys. Thanks. Yeah, I feel like there was about 900 other things I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
That was hard to get to, because we didn't talk much about like the night we shot with the car, Jason, and with a Mustang and all of that stuff.
I cut my finger that evening. We had done so much stuff, and then at the end of the day, I cut my finger on a like peanut jar.
Oh no!
And
I forgot about
then
that.
I had to hold a camera with that.
Oh.
And I'm like, dude, I've done so much today, and that's what happened. Okay.
Yeah.
That sucks. Bob the Hun is still trying to get us to make Comic Vault the movie. And I think I mentioned this somewhere, but I have a secret concept for what we would do with that.
do?
I'm not gonna talk right now about what that is, because I don't know that
Wait.
I'm ever gonna actually make that.
Yeah.
But somebody brought up this idea for making a Comic Vault movie, and immediately I had this flash of what it would be.
Oh,
And-
I know what it is.
And it would be Brandon and Chris. I'll tell you guys after this.
All right,
Sure.
sounds good.
I
I'm
don't
curious
want to.
now.
I don't want to mention it yet because I don't want to get anybody's hopes up, because
Right.
it would be so freaking cool. But we would need more of a real movie budget to pull it off.
Yeah, that- yeah.
Well, but I mean, and I didn't even mention this when we were doing the commentary. This movie cost us about $1,200 to make. That's all we spent on it. I maybe had a couple $100 more out of pocket, but what we raised was $1,200. That's about what we spent, and we spent that on stuff like the car rental for the Mustang. We had like a $200 T-shirt budget. It was like ridiculous how many. I mean, we had to buy the props for like the Doomsvent's helmet and the spindly hand and fingers and
Well, the guns.
the guns.
Oh my gosh!
So
I
mostly with the props.
I forgot to talk about the gun that goes go go go.
Go, go, go!
Well, you'll hear a lot of that in the blooper cut.
Yeah.
Because on set, that's what you heard it. That's what you heard whenever
Yep.
we pulled that. You're like, go, 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 do it now. But anyway, if we did my idea for the Comic Vault movie, we would probably need like permits for location shoots and things like that. I think that movie I could maybe pull off with like 20 grand, but I think it would cost significantly more than this did. We certainly couldn't shoot very much of it at my house.
Well, sign me up.
If that's
Yeah.
if that's the idea that I think it is,
Yeah.
I think you also need a lot more in the makeup department.
Yes. A lot more in the makeup department, a lot more costume stuff, and it would require fake blood and stuff.
A
so-
lot.
Oh yeah, no blood in this movie.
Yeah, we talked
We
about
talked
that.
about that.
Yeah, well, you mentioned it was like the Nolan rule too, where they
Yeah.
always said to like the Dark Knight would have been rated R if there was like one drop of blood.
And we were just able to be kind of lazier with it.
Yeah.
And like I think things like the Dart Joke are funnier without blood.
Yes.
Especially since you don't even see the darts in him.
No,
or
when you cut
anything.
back to them, it's like, where even are they?
Yeah, you're just pulling them from nowhere in particular, and I'm
Yeah.
reacting to it.
I think that's hilarious. Oh, we also didn't talk about the fact, and you'll see them in the blooper cut, about the fact that Gary had like 1,000,000 takes when he and the ninjas are walking off. And he
Yeah.
said some really vulgar things.
Some
that
less
were
than
funny.
PG-13.
Them, even.
So when I post that, I'm gonna probably just put up a disclaimer about profanity, because you'll hear me say more F-bombs than you've ever heard me say.
Yeah.
Because shooting something like this gets stressful, and I guess I feel a little bit bad about it because I had like my son there the whole time. I mean, he's getting older, but he was like 13, 14 when we shot some of that, and I was a bit of a potty mouth on this project. I'm not gonna lie.
Dude, I was
It just helps you get through it, man. So,
Gary-
I was swearing quite a bit.
Gary doing those. He would just say random things. I was all the way like
Yeah.
I was like all the way at the other side of the house, and I was still laughing so hard that I was messing up the takes because I was like, dude, what?
Oh, Schwuggs Lever and Dan Schneider say I actually told everybody what the idea would be during the Super Chat premiere. Or the Super Chat premiere. So those guys know it
okay.
already.
Okay.
But I am going to keep it a secret for publicly for
Yeah.
now.
So if you two
But
just
anyway.
promise not to tell anybody,
Nicholas
I can find the
Jason,
camera here.
Jason is 15 right now. Well, anyway, appreciate you guys. Thanks a lot for watching, and I hope you learned something about how to make a movie with $1,200.
Guerrilla style movie making.
Hire
experience.
Brandon.
Hire Brandon.
That helps. That helps a lot.
Yeah.
Hire Chris to hold a microphone that you'll choose to stop using midway through,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
to do crappy Doomsvent's impressions, and to stand in exactly the wrong spot most of the time.
And to hide in stairs.
You know, I've got many talents. I'm
And hire me because I say, house.
house.
But yeah, thank you guys for committing to it. I mean,
Acting.
it was a lot of work for nobody getting paid, and for none of us making a dime at all.
Yeah, but putting it on my resume is fun. So
I mean, that's something to do.
seriously though.
I know.
I mean, look, it fills that gap. Fills that 2-year gap.
Yeah.
Well, we got to get going. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody, and we'll see you again soon with lots more geeky stuff here on Geekvolution. And like I said, I'll have lots of special features about the movie over the coming weeks. I don't know what order they'll come out in, but I have lots of things. I have at least 8, 9, 10 things to post besides this. So look forward to those things.
Isn't there a whole
Cool.
one just about Chris?
Yeah, there's one where Chris gives his whole life story.
Nice.
That's pretty great.
I don't remember that one. What did I
Minute by minute,
say?
blow by blow.
I know.
I don't really even remember exactly what it's about. There's one There's one where Chris goes on for like 10 minutes about 90s PSAs.
Yes, I remember that.
It was in the bedroom shoot, and then we have like a half an hour featurette on that set where we just go through it and talk about the stuff we put up and and why.
Didn't we
that's
have a whole
what-
thing like outside too while we were doing
That one's shorter, but I'll probably post that by
our
itself, too.
montage stuff. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Where I pretend like we're at the Twin Pine Mall.
Yes.
Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you again real soon. I was Captain Logan. We had Jason.
Yep.
And Chris.
Hello.
And Brandon.
Hi, bye.
He's in the back there. I need to like give him some light here.
Bye, folks.
Yeah.